Yes.
When I say politics and stocks, I was looking at NFTs of prime ministers.
Oh, really?
But Unity stock price, I would have said I was looking at deep, deep, deep holes. I just googled plummeting, and that was what came up. They managed to drop the hottest game of Sudoku, but only they lost. It was insane. Like, and now they've actually like fully walked it back. I've heard.
More or less, yeah. That it's kind of, I suppose, like it's as much of a walk back as they could. It's not quite as good as RuneScape managed recently.
Oh right, but I don't know anything about that, so you need to play Lorman for that.
All
But
right, okay,
before we
okay.
get on to that, I just want to read out a statement that I
Mhm.
was sent earlier on today. The statement is from what's this guy's name again? Ponkle? Is that his name?
Ponkle.
Hang on, give me a second. Brett, how much did I talk to you? How much do I talk to? Was it even you? No, maybe it was.
Might not be me because I don't know of this. I do not know of this Ponkle.
No, not you. The royal you, the you I'm talking to in this message thing. Who the fuck told me about this? There's no way we've spoke that much, Florin. No shot. No chat. Unless I'm. This was like yesterday. No, okay. I don't know where I got this information from, but basically the dude that made Vampire Survivors, uh,
Right. Yeah.
put he put out a wee statement thing. People were asking him like, would you ever consider going back to like if you made a Vampire Survivors 2, even after the walk back, would you consider using Unity? And he was basically just like, nah. think I'll be looking elsewise. So what
Hard pass.
well, I mean, what I think that means is we might not get any more Vampire Survivors DLC, but we might get a Vampire Survivors 2 real fast.
Hmm.
Because, you know, as soon as he develops on a different game engine, then he can just start. He could basically make Vampire Survivors a fucking live service if he wanted to. You charging me £1.79 for a full expansion? I'll fucking pay that once a month. I don't care. I'll lose that down the couch.
Yep. Your wallet falls in. Your wallet falls to the bottom of your bag. You probably lose that.
Yeah, exactly. Like £1.70 was that. That's just I don't have one packet of chips. It's not much. So you know, if we did get another Vampire Survivors game and it went kind of live servicey in the sense that he was like, all right, you guys give me £1 a month and I'll just continually add shit to this game, like a new character a month, a new map, a new weapon. It's like, how hard can it be to add that to this game, really? Especially now there's like three of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I would just do it. I'm not saying that's the model that I want them to do. I'm just saying that's what I would do just to spite Unity. And I would send them. Like, honestly, man, if I was one of these guys that has been fortunate enough to create a game that's gone into like this big smash success and it was created on Unity and Unity wanted a piece of money, from now on, everything that I did, I would screenshot how much I made and send it to them. I would make it on completely different hardware, unrelated to them, so they have got nothing, no claim to it whatsoever. But I would just send them my financial records just to be like, mind when you were getting a cut of that?
So, I have a piece of breaking news.
Oh,
Can't believe it. Can't believe I'm saying this.
okay.
Only as of 1 hour ago, Square Enix via the Final Fantasy VII official social media account. We saw many of you were asking, so we hope this helps.
Okay.
In Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the character is pronounced Kate Sith.
I mean, I'm not surprised. What's that one meme of Leo with the fucking wine glass and he just looks ultra smug?
Yeah, I just tips the glass. Yeah,
Kate Seth is, of course, of course.
yeah. So
Well,
the official from official sources, that is what the character will be called in Rebirth.
correct. It's been said in Final Fantasy media before, has it not? Do they not say it in Dirge of Cerberus? Does nobody say his name in Advent
I'm
Children?
pretty
Not once.
sure. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it gets said at least once in Dirge.
See, now that I mention it, do they actually say half of the characters' names in Advent Children? Like, I genuinely think they might only actually say the names of Cloud, Tifa, and Barrett.
The other characters' names do get mentioned, but like it's like in the opening cutscene. Like for example, the trio when they first appear on the ledge with the Buster Swords planted.
Yeah.
Like when they first appear, they like kind of do that thing where they're talking to each other, but in such a way as they reveal their names.
Yeah, so that's a load of dog shit. But I'm talking
Yeah,
about, like, people I care about. You know, like
yeah.
characters that don't totally fucking suck. So like,
But mate, what about Denzel? You have to know Denzel. Denzel's really important to the story.
Geostigma. Oh
Uh,
no. Anyway, so I mean, I know straight up they never say Nanaki or Red 13, and he's got one line in the entire movie.
yep. And it is criminal because he's voiced by Liam O'Brien.
Man, they got him in to do none. What a waste. Sid, I don't think Sid gets named either, because when Sid shows up, Denzel's like, who's he? And Tifa just goes, other friends. But she doesn't actually name any of them. So I genuinely think that, like, Vincent, Kate, Sith, Sid, Yuffie says her own name.
Vincent is Vincent's referred to as Vincent by Cloud
Right.
when they meet for the first time.
Yeah.
He at least gets his own name.
Okay, but there's at least 3 of them that don't actually get named.
Yeah.
And one of them's not even optional. He was a party leader for, like, at least a section of the game. He's the first man in space, bruh.
Yep.
In the same way that like Neil Armstrong was the first dude on like the moon. Like there was other dudes there. He's just the one that did it. You know, he was there for. Sid was a little bit further up in the rocket, so he was technically there first. Like he was sitting on the nose of the rocket, and everybody else was just, and they were on the shaft. But Sid was the tip.
The tip of the lance.
I'm just saying, you know, like there must be an official seating chart to decide who's going to be technically the first person through the atmosphere. No. Otherwise, everybody would just be pressed up against the glass, like me, it was me. Aliens are looking down. There's just 5 dudes pressed up against the windscreen. They're like, the fuck is going on here?
But yeah, there we go. Kate Sith is Kate Sith.
I just have one more question about aliens that's completely unrelated to anything. How come when you get all of these reports of like anal probing and all that, there's never any oral probing going on as well?
Mate,
Surely you could get...
it's just what rednecks do to disguise butt stuff. Honestly, I swear this is probably what it is.
now that
They just don't want to admit to butt stuff.
It was the aliens. They came down to probe my butt. Did they do anything else? Did they take any blood samples? Nope. Did they like, nah, they hit my tonsils.
They left a sample, though.
They hit my tonsils with a cucumber, but that was it. That's why they're bruised. That's it. Like this redneck's going to his like family dentist. Well, I mean he's a redneck, he probably doesn't have a family dentist, but you know what I mean. They go to the dentist just for this scenario, right? He's going to the dentist, and the dentist's like, "Hey, how come your tonsils are bruised the same way tonsils get bruised when you've been given blowjobs?" I tell you, brother, it was those aliens. Just to see the bruises on my butthole. I won't show you unless you want to see, but I won't show you.
Do you think I should get him checked out?
I can see by your medical history you've
what?
had a
Vaccinations?
We, Mr. Cletus, we had a look over your medical history and we can see this is your third prostate exam this week. I just want to be sure. When you called, you asked if we had, and I quote, any doctors with meaty horns.
Hey, Cletus! Cletus! What's this package you got here? What are you ordering dragons for?
The dragon's growling. Brrr.
It said bad dragon on it.
The dragon's angry.
Is that you ordered this?
The dragon's angry, it's making noise.
There we go. We have a full picture of this character now.
What did that one dude do?
That was amazing.
Everybody else just got regular attacks. What did that one guy do? Oi. Oh, right, okay, he's not getting up. Are you on my side? Who's an enemy?
He's got a flag.
Oh, is that the difference?
Yeah, you're...
This has just turned into a Glasgow street fight. Here, mate, you passing a hospital on the way home. Get that stitched. Oosh.
that. So while
fucking yes, mate, young team, let's go.
So while we are hacking our way through the horde, do you want to hear what the RuneScape controversy was?
Yes.
Just since you didn't know.
Ow.
Okay.
Yes.
So they've recently walked back a number of changes that they made to the game in terms of how it's monetized.
Right, the fact that RuneScape is still going.
Yeah, it's damned impressive, really.
Like, you are... The only other sentence that would be on par is if you were like, so Habbo Hotel had a controversy recently. You'd be like, what the fuck? No, it didn't. That shut down.
I recently found out that Neopets was still a thing, and I'm like really confused.
I know for a fact that that's a thing because there's somebody that comes around to my house quite regular that plays it. And in fact, I know that. God, this is the second-hand information. This is what it sounds like when I talk, but from the other side. So apparently, there's a Neopet called a Psy Bunny, and that's the most rare one. So rare, in fact, that they only actually let you adopt a Psy Bunny on one day of the year. So people save up all of their adoption slots for fucking Psy Bunny Day, and then everybody just goes and adopts a bunch of bunnies. So if you're thinking about getting into Neopets, wait for Psy Bunny Day.
Yeah, because then you get a cool thing.
You get the coolest thing, allegedly.
So RuneScape had introduced a feature called the Hero Pass.
Oh no.
Yeah, it is what you think it is. And it gotten to the point where the majority of the in-game rewards were locked behind this membership.
Yep.
So specifically, 61 out of 101 Premier rewards asked for players to pay money, essentially.
Now, if anybody needs the math on that, that is approximately 60%.
Yeah, just about.
Don't ask me how I figured that out. I went to school, you know.
And Hero Pass also put a stop to daily challenges, which was something that was a feature of the game for quite some time, and it generated experience, and you got keys and things for it.
Yeah, man.
And that was for.
If you have any kind of recurring game where you want your players to log in every day, dailies are like casuals know what dailies are.
Yeah, everyone like has, you can more or less, figure out what we mean by that. But they've taken those out. They'd binned them essentially, and now what they've said. The pay-to-win parts of Hero Pass are removed as soon as the developer's able to address this. The daily challenges are going to be reinstated in full, and the developer Jagex said that that change will probably take a couple of weeks, and to return, it will take a couple of weeks to return, and it's going to solve the most kind of egregious stuff first. And they're walking it all back. They're walking it all back. They're also saying that they will refund anybody who essentially wants it.
Oh, goddamn. Oh no, Uncle saw you do the not samurai thing.
Yep.
What, efficiently? Jen, you can't do it efficiently. We need to fuck around. Listen, terror might not be the weapon of a samurai, but these motherfuckers have this, whatever you call that. Alright, so... You really want me to walk up and look him in the eye when he's slinging 1,000 flaming arrows at me at once? I think Uncle might be fucking drinking too much sake.
Well, I think the wackiest thing about those things is like when we experienced one 1 or 2 streams ago, we did actually confirm that they were a real thing.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of, like, there's been so many things when I was younger where I was like, oh my god, that's so interesting, that's so weird, why did we develop that? And then you find out it's to end life on a depressing scale.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things that are just designed to end human life on a depressing scale.
Yep.
And they're all really fucking cool except for that bit.
Yeah, for the moment they actually do what they're intended to do.
Yeah, like how fucking cool is a chain gun?
Yeah, and like, putting it to like, I suppose appropriate to this thing. How cool is a samurai sword?
Yeah, like how fucking cool is like a chainsaw?
That's mostly for trees.
Ah, I know what it's for. I played Resident Evil.
You've seen Army of Darkness.
I saw Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, the first Evil Dead, which doesn't actually matter, and Ash vs Evil Dead, and Evil Dead Remake, but I've not seen Rise. Which
is, I think it's on now. I think you can. I think that is watchable.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Cool.
It looks alright. It's definitely very different.
Is Campbell in it, or is it just a side?
No.
Is it a side-along piece?
No, I believe it's called Evil Dead Rise because this one takes place in a high-rise instead of anywhere near the cabin.
Oh, right, I see.
So, just being an Evil Dead fan, the only thing I can think off the top of my head is either we're going to find out it's in, like, the ridiculous future, and this is actually where the cabin was, or they like used bits of the cabin to make that location. I don't know. Or they took the Kandakian dagger and the text and the Necronomicon back there. Or what likely it is that there's just actually no connection at all, and maybe one of them, their maiden name before they were married was Nobi. I don't know. It's going to be something dumb like that, you know, like at the very end, she'll be like, "Oh no, I don't go by that name anymore. I'm going to use my mother's name." "Oh, what is it?" "Nobi." Wow. Because, you know,
Rey
horror
Skywalker.
movies, yeah, horror movies have to end with metal tracks, so
Yeah, it's kind of the rules.
yeah. Speaking of playing awesome tracks while horrifying shit's going on, a man in Merca has been arrested for serially driving his vehicle through buildings.
Yeah, is this another? What's his face? The Killdozer incident.
No, I don't know. I don't know what the Killdozer is, so maybe.
Oh, we need to talk about the Killdozer. Okay, that's what kind of stream it's going to be. Okay, I'm good with this.
Right. All right. I didn't have any news, so rabbit holes it is.
Yep.
So
strap yourselves in, folks.
No, this motherfucker, apparently he rammed his car in, like, straight through someone's garage, you know, like, attached to their house. So it was, like, into the house. That was to scare them. And then, I don't know if he had, like, a moment of clarity where he realised, oh shit, I'm definitely going to go to jail for this. So he decided to just drive full pelt to the police station, run the car through the wall and hand himself in. But when he did it, he was blasting "Welcome to the Jungle," and when he burst through, there's footage of this. It's very audible. When he burst through the wall, blasting "Welcome to the Jungle," he gets out the car, throws up both hands, and goes, "Woo, yeah!" And then like they're trying to arrest him, but he won't put his hands down. He's celebrating. Holy shit. What a breakdown. I've seen some spectacular displays when people get pushed to the edge, but that is definitely up there, man.
This it is kind of another sort of Killdozer situation. So,
That just sounds like the name of one of the cars from Death Race 2000.
It does, doesn't it?
Is that the second season of Twisted Metal you're talking about?
Is that one of the racers?
Is it the racer or the car's name? I can't tell. Who's the AC? Who's the robot?
Speaking of which, finished that. Oh my god. Yeah, finished Armored Core on a New Game Plus Plus, got all 3 endings. Fantastic. Loved it. The final fight was a whole heap of bullshit, though. It was. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed myself, but it was like there were so many moments with it where I was just like, "Oh, come on!"
See, when we were talking about it the other day before you'd finished,
I know, right?
Do you know how hard I had to bite my tongue? You son of a bitch. You're just like, oh yeah, wouldn't it be really funny if it was that little piece of shit Guazu? And I was just like, yeah.
Because I said, because I was saying, well, that's the thing. I was saying that because that would be the Gundam thing to do, and apparently they read the memo.
You parsed through the ending with just reference material.
Yeah, it's basically reference material. Like, you can draw like several characters in Armored Core 6. You can draw a line to somewhere in the Gundam verse that is a parallel character that matches them almost perfectly.
Miyazaki's like, listen, I'm not a one-trick pony. I've seen more than Berserk. but not
watch
much
other
more
things, you know.
I ain't seen much more than Berserk, but I've seen it.
All right then. So I mean, is there any more kind of like gaming news beats you want to go just before if we do go tumbling down a rabbit hole? Is there any
Uh,
other kind of gaming newsy things you want to hit first?
Give me a second just to double check my notes. I can never tell if the noise outside is a dog barking or if it's just a guy pretending to be a dog harassing people.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
PS Plus Essential. It is Weird West, Farming Simulator 2022, and the Callisto Protocol. We have Dead Space at home.
so in order, it was ooh, oh, okay, and oh, okay, all right. I guess if it's free, I'll play it.
Yeah, and I suppose, and the thing is, this is like, because like PlayStation have recently put the prices up for the subscriptions, and you know, like fair enough. Looking at this on the face of it, Weird West and Callisto Protocol are not that old in terms of being, you know, like released. They're maybe, because Callisto was like, it was like a year, less than a year ago, right?
It came out round about the same time that that other dog shit horror game came out. Oh, the one that's really short and nothing happens. Scorn.
Scorn, yeah, aye. And and Weird West, I think, is again, you know, a year, maybe 2 years old. So like, it seems like they're getting like bigger ticket games on the back of raising their prices, but it's bigger ticket games that no one wants to play.
Yeah, we've went from the. Remember back in like the early 2000s, you would go into game and they would have that rack of PC games, and it was like these ones are £3 for £5, these ones are three
Uh-huh.
for £10, and these ones are £3 for £20.
Yeah.
We're in the 3 for 20 bin now.
Uh-huh.
Like still not a full price fucking game, but you know the 3 for 20 bin definitely was better than getting shit big rigs. You know. Also, oh my goodness, thank you. You make sure that you rest up. You get this boy working for you. Told you, apron, nothing else. Yes, ma'am. Oh my goodness, no, that's just you've been too kind. You've been too generous. None of that. Thank you, my friends. Appreciate it.
I'm just taking a glance over, you know, like the other kind of. Oh
I
yes, right,
I got
okay.
I got
Here's
two on my
okay.
docket. The first one is you're talking about that Sony price hike.
Uh-huh.
Well, somebody's going to be on the hook for that when all the backlash starts, and it sure as shit ain't going to be Jim Ryan.
Nope.
Big Jim is getting the fuck out of there. Well, the getting is good. His official reason for leaving after all these years, because you got to remember, Jim Ryan has been with PlayStation since before there was a PlayStation.
Yeah.
He's not some PS4 exec that they brought in to help them steer the ship. This man has been there since they were putting the screws in the first prototype. So he's a pretty big deal at Sony, and yeah, he has said that he can no longer be arsed working in America but living in Europe. Fair play to you, Jim.
And this kind of suppose ties neatly into there was something else that I'd seen that apparently Sony's push towards live service games that it announced is not going overly well. What a surprise.
Oh my God, I did not predict this. I also did not predict that NFTs would be fucking bad. Who can tell these things really? You know.
Yeah. Not the prophet of media.
Look, man, it doesn't work like I can't just sit down and predict the future. You know, sometimes it just comes to me, and
It has to happen. It has to happen organically.
it's kind of like Freakazoid. You know, how Dexter Douglas could go into the computer and become the Freakazoid.
Uh-huh.
Every now and then I'll be holding the controller and it will just start like vibrating in Morse code, and I'll be like, "Oh, they're speaking." Bzz, 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 bzz. Sony
Is,
is fucked. Oh no.
is it like Ifrit? There's only So, are you still getting to grips with it?
Yeah, I still don't realize that I'm the one that killed my brother. But it's fine, he's not dead.
But yeah, like what I really don't understand. I suppose of course I understand it's all about money, but um, PlayStation has built, the last couple of generations from its perspective anyway, is that it has built its fortress on high quality single player things. Because you think
Yes.
about you think of the first party Sony stuff. You've got The Last of Us, you've got Spider Man, you've got God of War, and Horizon.
And if not exclusivity, then timed exclusivity for all Final Fantasy releases.
Yep.
There's quite a few other companies that they have really good relationships with as well. They've basically got fucking like Blue Point in their pocket. They got From doing a lot of work with them.
Hmm.
They're getting like Sony dominate the third party exclusive title market, whereas Nintendo are the undisputed kings of the first party
Hmm.
exclusive title market. Even though they are geared more towards either a younger or a dumber audience. I haven't decided which
Hmm.
yet. They often overlap, but I've always had it in my mind that Sony are the absolute kings of the home console market. Nintendo cannot be touched in the handheld game, and Microsoft are American. So they just make a lot of noise, but there's not much substance. There used to be. There
I,
used to be something there. There used to be good old American values. God damn it, we used to have games like Gears of War and Halo back when Halo was worth playing.
and I think like there was the other thing that kind of always that struck me about Microsoft, and I suppose like when you think about it, Sony are probably just as guilty as Microsoft on this, but like I always remember when Microsoft bought Rare from Nintendo, and it was almost like like they were being Rare was being taken away, and we're kind of like, oh yeah, right, okay, Microsoft's going to get all the all the games that we love now, like things like Banjo Kazooie and Conkers and things like that.
And Banjo Tooie.
Yeah, Banjo too, and like, and there were there were a whole stack of like Rare games because like Rare was like really super prolific in the N64 era. They had a crack at making anything. They made character platformers and they made a James Bond game, and they made just about everything in between.
Were Rare, might be showing my age here, but are Rare one of the first examples of a studio where if they had a game coming out, it was probably going to be good?
I mean, like, I would say you had a good chance of it being good. They weren't all winners. Definitely not. But you kind of recognize that Rare was like, it was like a kind of an indicator that there was at least quality going into it.
I just want to know, like, at what point did the shift go? Because it's happening in movies too, right? The thing with movies
Yeah.
used to be who's in the movie, and you
Hmm.
would go and see like the new Jim Carrey movie because it was going to be funny, or you would go and see the new Tom Cruise movie because it was going to be action packed and really exciting. But
Yeah.
now I'd say that it's way more you look at who's making it. Like people are more hype about a Christopher Nolan film coming out
Uh huh.
than like an individual actor or whatever. And I
I
think
think it
that the
goes in
same.
cycles. I think it goes in cycles because we've had the whole the Marvel arc. I mean, Marvel's in decline now, but the superhero movie has had its point as well, where people aren't necessarily going to see the actor or the director or whatever. They're going to see the character.
Yeah,
So I think it kind of comes in cycles. I think you've got like you've got like there's points where one aspect of it makes sense to people, and then then it sort of goes around again. I think we're maybe coming back round to who's making the film, like you say, and that's possibly a good thing because maybe people will recognise good cinema.
I think what needs to happen really for movies specifically is people need to stop looking at either of those things and start looking at who's writing it. Like, let's face it,
Yeah,
that's the foundation of any movie. Is like it's a form of storytelling, so the story that is being told is very important. And
yeah.
if you do no work for that, then it doesn't matter how much money you put into it or how pretty it is. Like I was just watching Oh fuck, yeah, that's fucking fucked that up, innit? Never mind, boys, I'll do it myself.
I suppose let us see an archetypical example of that I've seen in the past, right? So the Fifth Element,
Yes.
right? So the Fifth Element is made by a guy called Luc Besson.
Okay.
And it's 100% his most famous film, and like maybe I want to say like 6-7 years ago or something like that. It was announced that Luc Besson was doing another film. And that it was going to be sci-fi. Again, it was going to be like from the perspective of two side-by-side hero characters. And people were thinking, oh, cool, is this going to be like a spiritual successor to Fifth Element? With like modern CGI and stuff. And like we saw trailers, and like it was very glitzy and like kind of like the CGI was just like really really intense. It was like almost trippy to the point,
Oh no.
like all the architecture and stuff.
Oh shit. Well, fuck that up. I'm trying to figure out
Oh,
in my head what. Really? No alarm?
oh, he saved it.
Really? Really? Guys. Guys.
They just can't
There's
work
the
it out,
alarm.
man.
Damn. Oh man, I thought I could cheese that. Just keep it indefinitely going. Whoever pulled the horn out was getting it next. I'm so
Okay.
scared about what movie you're talking about here because I think I know
Okay.
what it is. You know that way I'm like, oh yeah, it sounds really good. Wait a minute, wait.
Okay. And the movie was called Valerian.
Oh shit. Is that the one that had Channing Tatum?
No, you're thinking of Jupiter Ascending, which is
Yeah.
equally bad, if not worse. But no, the one this one has an actor in the lead role, which I don't think I'd seen up until that point. It is. Let me see. So it was a guy called Dane DeHaan.
All right.
Okay, had never heard of him, but also in the film were Cara Delevingne, who can't act for toffee, Ethan Hawke, Clive Owen, Rutger Hauer.
Oh, there you go. There's some star power.
Just try to see if there was anybody. No, there was no other kind of big names to it, but like the movie was it was appallingly written. I think that was its biggest flaw. That was appallingly written. I felt my brain just falling away like pieces of wet cake when I was watching this movie, and I went to the cinema to see it. That's the thing that pissed me off. Went to the cinema to see it.
That's always the worst. It's not so bad now because movie prices have actually came right down and it's kind of reasonable to go see movies. But back then.
Yeah, especially if your local picture house operates a cheap Tuesday.
I don't know if mine does, but I just
Our
noticed.
closest one does. It's
I just
great.
noticed the last couple of times I went to the showcase, I was like, holy shit, man! It was like a fiver for the seat.
Just for the seat.
Oh, hey, man, it's a good seat.
Yeah, I suppose showcase seats are pretty good.
It's a real good seat. It's better than the one I'm in just now. The one I'm in just now has been my gaming chair for nearly 10 years, and it's starting to not be comfortable.
But yeah, like writing, absolutely, it should be the focus. Is this thing does this thing make a lick of sense? There was a moment that with that earlier on, Emma had the second Fantastic Beasts film on. And there was a moment that popped up where we got to discussing it, and then we realised it didn't make a lick of fucking sense. And I thought you might like to hear that because that's the sort of thing that you get off on.
Hey now, come on! It's not a sexual thing. It's not. All right, I'm not.
Well,
I'm
okay,
not
you
a
are
fucking.
gratified by it.
I'm not a restaurant owner that puts hand sanitizer next to the soap and then just watches people fucking squirt at random onto their hands. Snake eyes, motherfucker. No, it's not. Okay, maybe a little bit. I never said that. I never did.
So to go over what it was, right? So now you're kind of ingratiated into the whole Potterverse thing. You kind of know what I'm talking about here. You know how like wizard paintings,
Yes.
right? You know the wizard painting has a image of the person that is painted, but that person can move and talk and seemingly go between different versions of its own picture, right?
Sure.
So there's a scene in Fantastic Beasts 2, The Crimes of Grindelwald, where one of the characters gets a big book and opens it up, and it's got a whole load of photographs of wizards and witches in it. And he flicks through to one of the pages and starts talking to one of them, thereby kind of flicking through wizard Facebook. Now,
What does talking to a picture mean? Like,
so basically the person is talking to the picture in order to inform the person whose picture it is of the plan. To discuss. Right? Okay. Right. No. Stick with it. This is why it doesn't make sense. Okay. So they're talking to the picture to inform the person whose picture it is of what is happening. Essentially, that they are discussing events. Now, I asked the question. How does that work on the other end? If someone's talking to a wizard picture and they are wanting to get that information to the person whose picture it is, does the picture version of them have to tell the real one?
that is
Okay,
not my
so
immediate question.
okay, what's your immediate question?
If that's how that works, then what is the point of owls when you could just have a picture of someone and
Yep.
talk to it and they get that information? How does that work if the person's dead? How does that
Well-
work if the picture was taken when that person was drunk and then you've got to tell the drunk picture to relay information reliably? Can the picture misinform itself?
So I am informed that it usually has to be a painting rather than a picture. I'm being informed of that just now. But
Off, pocket portrait.
No, but the thing is, right? The thing is, it shows them as pictures in the Fantastic Beasts. So that point still stands. It is a photo album that he's flicking through. So what is so that's what I was asking. Does the picture version of someone have to tell? Does 2D 2D person have to tell 3D person what has happened? Or does the 2D version of the person who initially relayed the message tell them? That's noodly or magic, but it also could be rationalized some way, you know. But we are also,
Shut your
told,
arse,
right?
Ryuzo. Get
Yeah.
fucked. I am the demon. I am the destroyer. Continue.
You are absolutely ruining him. Nice.
Hey man, this guy betrayed me. He betrayed my father. He betrayed my uncle. He betrayed me. Come on, do something.
So, the point that unravels it all is that we are shown that in certain instances that there is potentially only one 2D self, because in the Potter films and Potter books, we are told that characters, like for example the portrait of Phineas Nigellus Black in Dumbledore's office, is told to visit his other painting, which is in number 12 Grimmauld Place, the Sirius Black's house. So he's told to go to that painting, which is presumably empty until he fills it. Now, if so, how does that photo album thing work? Because if there's only one version, one 2D version of everybody, how is any message going to get relayed? They're not necessarily going to be there when you open the book. It doesn't make a lick of sense.
Have you ever played Sonic Origins?
No, I have not.
Alright, well in that one you get new Sonic and then there's like chubby OG Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
And they just have to kind of communicate with each other even though they're completely different, but they are the same being. So maybe it's kind of like if, you know, like Polygon Cloud was talking to
Right.
Remake Cloud.
Saw a cool piece of fan art with that on it.
Oh, Jin, you're a fucking idiot. Just tell him that Ryuzo changed his mind, poisoned the guys, and died so that you can save his honor and not take the blame for this, you fucking idiot. That took me 3 seconds to come up with.
Man. But yeah, like, do you agree it makes no fucking sense?
I mean, I could have told you that before hearing the logistics of it, but now that I've heard the logistics of it, I am now fully aware of how little sense it makes, to a point where it's making my brain hurt a wee bit thinking about all the logistic issues that go on here.
Yeah.
Like, for example, let's say the photograph gets burnt or
Right.
damaged by the sun, or someone they spill coffee on it,
Yeah.
and that person is in the image. Do they then appear in the next photo with a burnt face or like ash on them or whatever?
Well, again, that's not clearly defined, but we are told through through kind of the various forms of Potter media that the people in the painting do react to the outside world. They can perceive the outside world to an extent, because we have old wizards in photos reacting to the light where Harry's walking down the corridor in the films. We have people who paintings who saw things because they were in the right place at the right time. You've got Phineas Nigellus, who can go between different pictures and relay messages for the Order of the Phoenix. They have a perception of the outside world. Like, where does that end? You know, like if their painting is destroyed, can they just go? I guess they can just go to another one.
We've done all the data, we've ran all the numbers, and the answer keeps coming back. It's fucked.
Yes.
Also, King
And
Kong, hello, and you finally have an
hello.
Xbox Series X console with MK1. Get a PlayStation so we can play together, bruh.
But also have fun. I haven't really heard much reports of MK1 whether
No,
it is
don't
good
have
or
fun.
not.
Don't have fun. Have fun with me. No. Fuck Xbox. I'm not. No. MK1 is fun unless you buy it on the Switch, in which case it is fun for a different reason.
Yeah, I've seen the potato character models. They are so great.
Oof.
It's like everyone's been sandblasted.
Every
All the features have just been scrubbed from their surface.
Somebody at Nintendo's came in and polished them smooth.
Yeah, it's a different version of the game in which it's just all mannequin people.
Mannequin combat. Hey. No, everything I've seen of it, it looks
No,
dope.
that's Lies of P.
Oh,
That's mannequin combat.
I haven't played that yet, but
You played the demo though, right?
I did, but I had a lot of things to say about the demo because I played it on PS4 and then I tried it on PS5 and went, oh, right, never mind. But I never got back into it. Because you know that way, it's like, well, it's fucking Bloodborne again in it, so I'm going to end up playing it at some point because it's fucking Bloodborne again in it.
Oh man, it's so funny. We were looking for a Bloodborne kind of let's play to watch the other night, and when we searched for it, Lies of P videos started coming up.
Yeah, all the videos I've seen have been titled like "This is Bloodborne 2," the Bloodborne sequel we always wanted.
The Bloodborne-ing.
Honestly, like, From must be so fucking busy. Are you guys outside like conspiring or what the fuck's going on? Yeah, like they must have been so busy because Bloodborne 2, that is like, you know that way that's like 2009 make a Marvel movie of anything money.
Yeah. Aye, that's to be honest, that's got to be at this point. That's got to be FromSoft's like break glass moment.
Yeah,
That's Capcom's Resident Evil 4. That's Square Enix's Final Fantasy 7 remake.
we're really
You know,
running out
like
of glass to break, aren't we?
yeah,
Like
yeah, we are.
what other glass is left? Oh shit! Actually, no. That reminds me
Chrono
of the
Trigger.
that
Give
that
it me.
reminds me of the other story that I had, which was
Oh,
that something that I would consider a break glass game remake has been very fucking quietly delisted.
yes, I did hear about this. It is,
Yeah,
and well, and unless if it's the one I'm thinking of, they deleted a trailer for it, and
yeah.
it's kind of pushing the very very solid idea that the whole thing might be cancelled.
Yeah, it's not been in a good place development-wise. The studio behind it were ones that had been responsible for ports in the past, but this would have been their first actual game. Kind of, it would be the same as like, giving Blue Point their own game, which I would so be up for, man. I would let them make Bloodborne 2 at this point.
I was gonna say let them have Bloodborne too.
Absolutely, just outsource it. You know people want it, just outsource it. It'll be fine. We'll buy it. It'll be shit. You can just claim that it's a modern video game. Look, we don't want to put in the same amount of effort that Larian did, so we're not gonna.
That's just the fact of the matter. Yeah.
Yeah. If people were honest about that instead of going like, "Oh, the way that we make games is," yeah. You don't have the time or the energy. We get it. You're not passionate about anything.
Or the passion for actually making games. You you are under the whip crack of your corporate oppressor, and you need to.
That's how I got
And
down
you,
that hole. No, Sora.
Sora,
Now she's Sorars.
fight the darkness.
Oh, double Sorars.
Organization 13. Run, Sora.
Did I not say like 2 streams ago our uncle was going to end up being a dickhead because he can't see the new way, like he can't see that the times are changing?
Yeah, you did because like it is definitely kind of one of Jin's big internal conflicts just now. You know, he's starting to gain traction as the ghost. People are starting to believe in him, and then you know the fact of the matter is that the methods that he's using are in direct opposition to what he's been taught to be all his life, essentially. So it's yeah, it's pretty intense stuff.
Kind of, but at the same time, I'm like, your entire island is on fire.
Yeah,
Your whole samurai thing didn't work. You were literally a prisoner, and now Sora's dead. Like, my guy, there is a time to just put your pride aside and to accept that the old ways aren't necessarily the right ways anymore. They were right for the time where you were doing them. Now they're not.
yeah, and that's what and that's what Jin's starting to say back towards his uncle, because he was ready for like you were locked up.
Like, listen, Uncle, I know you've had the same touchpad Nokia for 30 years, but it's time to get a smartphone. I'll show you how to work it.
Kill the Khan.
Oh, your uncle and the Khan are going to band together to stop the ghost, as if that's worse than the fucking Mongols. Like, if my uncle had his way, we would be raising an island with a bunch of children that looked like the Khan. And we wouldn't be saying a damn thing about it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he is kind of hung up on the whole honorable combat type thing, and that works. That sort of outlook kind of works right up until you meet an enemy who doesn't give a shit about any of that. They just want to win.
I'm gonna play a song for Sora, for the memory. My buddy. Yeah, it's very much.
You do. If you come back here, I'm pretty sure you get something for playing a specific song here.
Oh.
Yeah, I think there's actually something that you get here, but I think it's like you need to have learned a specific song first.
Is Sora's grave marked on the map?
I think so. Like once you kind of leave it from here, but
hang on a second.
We can.
Did fucking Jin make it all this way with his eyes shut? Where's my map?
Yeah, it must have been sort of passed out setting up that kind of way. You know, like how people fall asleep on horses in movies.
Fuck off. Look at this. Look at this destruction. Look at how fucked up this is, and the Khan's like, oh, or not the Khan, your uncle, the Kant, is like, oh, you should really walk up to them and look them square in the eye and give them a wee kiss and shake their hand before you kill them.
You got no swords, you need to stay hidden.
Oh. Reach
so you got to get to that big burning tree thing in the middle there.
Sorry, I was too busy having a rant to actually notice what was happening in front of me. Oh no, I'm turning into my dad. There's stuff on the screen and I'm ignoring it, and then I'm confused about why I'm not doing it well. It's finally happened.
So,
nope. Not that way. Get that, Jen!
Yeah, it's tricky this because there's only so many patches of grass, and
Shit.
you sort of insta lose if you're seen, as you've just demonstrated.
I was trying to do the. You're not a big Walking Dead fan, are you?
I watched not enough of it, to be honest. I do want to revisit it at some point and do the whole thing, but I haven't done so yet. To be, and this is going to be scandalous to you, I think, but I didn't even get to Negan being in the show.
Nah, that's understandable. The show was kind of dog shit for a couple of seasons.
Like, and it did kind of slow down for me at some point, and I sort of fell away from it. Or maybe it might have been actually. I think I know what happened. I only had so many box sets.
Ah, well,
I had up to like season 3 in box sets, and I think that's all I watched.
I'll try and not spoil anything for you then, but essentially what I was alluding to there is a move that a character does at a certain point, and it is quite an iconic move. It's very unconventional, and it proves to be massively effective. And it's
Is it Zombie Kill of the Week?
no, this is human human action. I mean, I can tell you, it's not a spoiler per
Human
se.
Hume.
It's not a spoiler per se. It's more just like a thing that happens that made everybody that saw it go, "Holy shit! No way!"
Oh, okay. What is this thing?
It's up to you. I'm not going to spoil nothing if you don't want to know.
To be honest, there's been things about the show that I have heard since, so it's not completely spoiler free for me anyway. So
All right. Well, there's a character who at one point is captured, and the
yes,
bad guys have him. He's down on his knees. He's in front of the other Goodmen that are. I think there's like two or three of our other guys that are standing in front of them, and this character's on the knees. They've got the gun to the head, and they're threatening to kill him. And this character, in a moment of panic, while he's on his knees with a gun pointed at his head, decides, "Do you know what, man? I've got nothing to lose, and I don't see any way out of this." So he turns around and he bites the guy on the dick,
okay.
and that shit works.
I imagine it would.
Yeah,
Would have
bites him, bites him
certainly
on
have
the
a
dick,
desired effect.
bites him on the dick, and everybody's just like, "No fucking way, this is happening right now." To a point where everybody's like, "We have enough time to casually kind of get away."
Uh huh.
And yeah, somehow, I mean, if that was me, if there was a guy chomping down on me and I had a gun in my hand, you better believe that I would be like lining it up so that I was shooting away from my hip, but still trying to take the shot.
Yeah.
But no, he just bites him in the dick, gets away with it. So I was trying to bite him in the dick, is what I'm saying. Fucking incredible. Anyway, right, what were we talking about? Like, this is like the eighth fucking tangent of a tangent we're on.
it's it's cool, man. I was I think the before we got into that one, we were, I mean, like, it all kind of stemmed from where we were talking about writing and why people go to the movies.
How did we get from writing to biting somebody in the dick?
Because we were talking about how other things are good or badly written, and yeah,
You know what?
it just spiraled. Don't
This is
question it. Just
this
go with
is
it.
this is silly. This is silly, and you're dragging me down intellectually.
Oh, really?
No.
Would you like to hear a story then? Because I have the details on the Killdozer thing
Oh
to
yeah,
hand.
absolutely.
Okay. So this was actually a fairly publicized event because of how fucking nuts it was, and this was in 2004. So kind of think about what you were doing in 2004.
Crying over girls trying to do a kickflip and uh 2004 I was 100% curating my Windows Media Player playlist so that when it connected to my MSN Messenger, it let people know that I was into some really fucking good music. That's what I was doing in 2004.
Fair enough. So to first understand
Hey, bud.
the kill. To first understand the Killdozer, you must first understand its pilot.
Before you understand the Killdozer, you must understand yourself. We all have a little Killdozer in us.
We must look at the pilot of this armored core. So it is a fellow called Marvin Haymeyer.
Fucking hell.
Or Heemeyer. I'm not entirely sure. It's one of the two. And there was a couple that, so basically he lived in Grand Lake, Colorado, and he had a lot of kind of local conflicts. So to kind of give you an idea of some of these, he nearly came to blows with a member of the press because he was campaigning for gambling to be legalized, because in his state area it wasn't. He had several kind of disagreements with the local press. He had a lot of problems with the town planning commission over his property, and like where his property line was, and he was kind of there was also a dispute over his sewage line. Now, the thing was that the land round about it was being, I think, if I remember right, it was being made into a factory, and basically like his like sewage supply ran through it. And when the construction was going on, they offered to buy out his land. They offered to buy him out of the, you know, where his workshop was, and he refused, and basically it was like up. They sort of like Pixar's Up. They sort of built the construction site round his property. There was like a dirt track road which led up to the construction site, which was the only access to his business, and that was basically blocked off. With the trucks going in and out, it basically killed his business. He tried to get, they cut off his sewage, and they tried to get the sewage line put back in, and they basically wouldn't let him do it. They quoted him like $70,000 to do such a thing. And altogether, all of these things and the various members of the community that he disagreed with slowly began to send them over the edge. And what he did after basically it was a zoning decision. So basically, the sewer district started enforcing legal requirement to have a sewer hookup or a septic tank, and they fined him like $2,500 and other city code violations at his business. And that was 9 years after he was like, he was trying to get his sewage line hooked up, and he was, hitting all these kind of barriers. He was between a rock and a hard place. So what he decided to do was he traveled to California, and he bought a bulldozer at an auction, and he had it shipped back to his workshop. He kept it outside of his business with a for sale sign on it, and he tried to auction it, but no one really paid any attention. And when the bulldozer failed to sell, he saw it as a sign from God that he had to start his mission. He sold his property for $425,000, more or less 10 times the original purchase price, to the trash company, and took out a lease for half the building he previously owned until he finished some work. He set up a small wall to separate his space from the rest of the building and changed the locks. No one in Granby, the local area, saw him, and he worked and lived on the site as he began to work on the bulldozer. He was writing at the time as well, and he supposedly said that it's interesting to observe that I was never caught. This was a part-time project over a 1.5 year time period. He was surprised that no one had noticed the modified bulldozer that was now at the property. Now, the bulldozer itself was a fairly heavy piece of machinery. And what he had done in the time that he had been working on it is he had covered it with makeshift armor plating. And it was he covered the cabin, the engine, and parts of the tracks. And in some places it was more than a foot thick. And it was concrete mixed between it was concrete and tool steel. That it was it was made composite armor basically.
Right.
And it made it and this made it very difficult to pierce. He had several video cameras all the way around it. They were linked to monitors in the dashboard and the inside. And compressed air nozzles were fitted to blow dust away from the video cameras. That's how in depth he went with it. He had fans and an air conditioner to keep him cool. He had 3 gun ports. One had a 50 caliber rifle in it. One was a .308 semi-automatic, and one a .22 caliber rifle. And they were all of these gun ports were fitted with 1/2-inch steel plate. It also contained 3 handguns and enough food and water to last a week. Now, what he did with this piece of kit was on June the 4th, he drove it through the concrete plant, which was what was set up next to him. The town hall, the Sky High newspaper office, a general store, a builder's yard, an electric company, a savings bank, a graphic design store, the wall of his former business, and the home of a former mayor. And they add in here in which the mayor's 82-year-old widow then resided, and a hardware store owned by another man he had named in a lawsuit previously. And the thing was, what he knew that this was a one-way trip, because when the armor had been lowered onto the bulldozer, there was no hatch.
Right.
So this thing was lowered. This thing was lowered on. There was no means of his escape, and he decided to drive through his local town, essentially destroying, everyone who ever wronged him, in his mind, knowing that it was a one-way trip, and altogether he caused about $7 million worth of damage.
Ooh, nice.
And eventually, they had to get, somehow they had to try and get, essentially they had to get this thing to stop. But how do you stop an armored bulldozer?
With an armored bull.
So they had, let me see. So this is, let me see. There were 12 police officers at first. There was 2 further state patrol officers. One officer dropped a flashbang down the exhaust pipe with no effect. And they tried to disable the cameras. They eventually unloaded about 200 rounds, but the police in total emptied 200 rounds into this thing, and nothing happened. There the governor was considering authorizing the National Guards to use an Apache with a Hellfire missile, or a two man team with a Javelin anti-tank missile to destroy it because they couldn't get it to stop. Um, and eventually, what happened was he. As he crashed into the hardware store, which was one of the last things he damaged, the bulldozer's radiator damaged and its engine failed, and it dropped a tread into the basement of the store and it couldn't get out again. And he chose his own way out. Obviously, we need to watch what we're saying about that kind of thing on Twitch, but he chose his own. He chose his own way out.
He released all of his Pokemon into the wild and deleted his game file.
Yep. But essentially, like that is, I suppose it's potentially a cautionary tale of what happens when someone is pushed to the point where they just snap. But do you know the crazy thing about the whole like $7 million worth of damage and all the devastation that was caused? No one was killed. No one, like, I don't think I'm as far as I'm looking over the details just now. As far as I can see, like, no one was really even hurt.
Damn, he did it. He just did all kinds of right here, didn't he?
Yeah, he just destroyed it. Just destroyed like the infrastructure of anyone who'd ever wronged him. Yeah, like, there was in the aftermath of it, there were people who were hailing him as a hero. There were people who were obviously disparaging what he'd done. But yeah, like, there were people like rapturously defending him.
I mean, I'm not sure whose side I would be on. I kind of I get the whole point of like, yeah, he probably should have just sold the land and moved, dude. But at the same time, like, I've been pissed off and I've wanted to do something about it. And it's really inspirational to know that there are people out there that are actually. I think the real takeaway from this story is don't piss off anybody who is a skilled worker.
Yeah, like if the guy has artificer levels, you might want to think about whether you want to piss that person off.
Yeah, like if this guy is fully capable of building this thing in the first place, you probably just want that guy on your side.
Yeah, but it's a wild story. I totally encourage if you can find a good rabbit hole YouTube video to dive down on it. There is a lot more detail than what I summarised there. It's quite a little story, actually.
The story is so good that I've had to pee for like a solid 10 minutes. I just haven't. So I'll be back.
just couldn't not wait for the end of it, I guess. Yeah, like occasionally I do go down these like kind of rabbit holes on on like YouTube or documentary type things, and it's usually quite fruitful in terms of entertainment anyway. So how are we all doing tonight? Who have we got in? We from what I can see, King Kong's here, Button Bell's here. Hello, you two. And we are kind of making headway with we're making big headway with Ghost of Tsushima. We're now kind of in the northern portion of the map, which is, I have to say, the late game isn't the strongest compared to what we've had so far. So the sort of thing we're going to be looking at, it'll be more kind of like mopping up and kind of seeing the working towards that big final conclusion of it, and then the DLC. Fuck knows about that. I've not played it, so we'll see what that is together. But yeah, like I touched on it earlier on. Another bit of news that I've had is I've just finished Armored Core 6, and I think it's fantastic. And I mean, I know that Baldur's Gate's probably going to get my Game of the Year ultimately, but Armored Core has done some serious work.
Eh. We can get an Armored Core review debate after this if you like. But I just wanted
Yeah,
to share my thoughts from my toilet
please,
thinkings.
please do.
There's something I'm trying to make the connection between thinky and winky, but I can't quite make it. So I acknowledge that it's there, but it is what it is.
You had a thinkle while you tinkled.
Like a bunch of people who work in witchcraft, you accuse of taking money and lying about. Oh, mate, I need to tell you about that. Actually, hang on a minute. Right, so Button here is like my market bestie. When we are working the markets, if Button is there, I
Yes, a
know that.
creative.
Well, yeah, creative, but also just a good friend, right? So I know that if Button's going to be there, then even if it's a shite day, I'll have fun, and that's more
Oh,
important, I think. You know, very good friend brings me brew. You can't ask
oh.
for more than that. You can't ask for more.
No, you
Anyway,
can't.
so we used to do. Oh, that's Una. Whoops. We used to do
Yeah,
these
don't stop you now.
markets. Um, did I just like
You just
detonate his frame rate?
frag out,
Did it?
frag out.
Holy shit. Anyway, we used to do this thing at one location, and we changed to a different venue, and the person who is in
I
charge,
miss work, mum.
kinda, yeah, the the person who was hosting that had that first location that we used has been
Yeah.
talking a power of shite about me,
Oh,
saying that I charge people like £100 for a table at the markets, but I tell them it's only 40, and then I pocket the difference, man. Like, man, first off, I'm not good enough at lying to hide that. Like, I think lying's really funny. I just giggle. If I'm ever trying to tell you a lie, and like I don't think I ever actually have because I know I'm so bad at it. But when I was a kid, I would try and lie about something, and my mom would just be like, "You're laughing and you're doing a weird thing with your face," and I'm like, I really swear I'm not. I'm really not doing anything. She's like, "No, no, go look at yourself. Go say the word into a mirror. I saw what I look like when I tell a lie. It's not acceptable."
it just doesn't work.
Yeah, so there's no shot I'd be able to do that. I just find it too funny because I think part of the reason is because like I don't necessarily fear the consequences of my actions because I live a goofy fucking life anyway. So I don't really have a reason to lie about most things.
Oh, this is sick, by the way. We're going to fire out a signal to draw them out, and then when they get near that cart of explosive barrels, we're gonna fire a fire arrow at that. Okay?
Okay. So
Yeah, yeah. So we need to wait until they're close, and then so yeah. So we're setting this off.
let me just make sure I've got my bow on.
Yes.
Half bow
We'll
with
probably need the
fire arrows.
long one if we've got.
Okay.
Okay, so we wait until they are kind of congregated around that.
I can slow time as well. That's a be a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hold, release.
Yes.
That was a good one. Right, come on, further up, boys. Did that just like melt the snow?
Yeah, it blew a hole in the ice.
Oh, nice. You do that again, your dick is getting set aflame, my dude. Oh, shit. Oh, they're fighting back now. Wah!
Okay, go get him.
It probably doesn't help that I'm wearing the blind man headband now. Everyone at Jin's sword swings looks different with his blindfold on. It looks a lot less intentional. Anyway, right, what the fuck were we talking about just there? before
So
all
it
that?
was. So you were going to talk about your thoughts as you went to the bathroom.
Oh God, what were we talking about just before I went in? It's totally gone now.
We're talking about Killdozer.
Oh yeah, I was thinking, how good would I get? You know, you get kaiju movies, right? But
Uh,
what about a gaiju movie where it's just the monster is just a dude in a bulldozer just going around destroying
so,
things. Nobody's actually hurt, and everybody takes it super like, you know. Imagine it cuts back to the mayor's office. Like, God damn it, this guy's caused $5 million of damage. What are we gonna do about it? Get the shit. I don't know
so
anything
that's the
about
thing.
American military.
That's the thing. It has been dramatized twice.
No way.
Yeah, so there have been two movies made. One is a kind of documentary drama type thing that kind of recants the events. It's called Tread, and there is another Russian movie which made in I think it was made in 2014. I think it said here that essentially fully dramatizes the events.
Were you around for that? I think 2014 is about the right time scale, but there was a short period of time where Russian cinema was really trying to break out, and we were getting
Oh,
things like Night Watch and Day Watch and then
look right,
Twilight
look.
Watch.
Do me a favor. Look at that headband when you get a chance.
I'm just hanging around, I've got time. What
That
was it
was the
called?
crooked Kama.
uh,
What does that
I,
look like to you?
I, I know exactly what that is.
That's one third of a trophy, is what that is.
That is a reference to the Thievius Raccoonus.
It is. We will also need to find. There is, I think it. I can't remember which armor set it is. I think it might be Tadayori's armor, or it might be one of the other ones. But essentially, when you put that headband, that particular armor set, and the Tanuki themed katana on, you get the trophy.
Amazing. Did you ever play? I ask you this every time, and I can never remember. You've not played the Sly Raccoon games, right?
I have not. I have not. No.
They are worth it. I felt like such a
Because when everyone else was playing, like when the predominantly PlayStation households were playing Sly Raccoon, I was playing. I was
yeah,
Nintendoing.
yeah. You were out having sex with girls. We get it. You're very cool. You were
No, I
driving a
was
car and having a social life. All right,
yeah, I
all
was
right, okay.
was driving a Mario Kart.
No,
Sometimes,
no,
sometimes an F-Zero because they actually made F-Zero games back then.
no, no. Back when you guys were playing that, I was just out finger blasting every day and just being pure sound, and everybody knew my name and all that. You know. All right, okay. Don't try. Hey, I'm dealing with. Hey, you sons of bitches.
Yeah, get some.
Right, hang on. I need to go and save this little jobber. Hey, you know what? Hod all of those. God, this is the kind of unit you would be. Do you know how many buttons I need to press?
So okay, Ronan's here to save us. It's Gasaku's armor we need to put on. So it's
Sick.
Gasaku's armor, that headband we just got, and the Tanuki, or raccoon tail, katana set.
Actually, while everybody's here, I can do my socialising. I can fill up my social calendar. Ronan, when you free, let's do something. It's been a while. Button, Snooze messaged me earlier on and wants to organise something. That is the name of somebody that we know, and you would absolutely adore her. She's from North Carolina.
Snooze,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's from North
as in what,
Carolina.
as in what we do to the alarm.
Yes. Except I'm okay. I have a lot of freedom with my job.
Uh-huh.
I don't set alarms.
Uh,
I genuinely have the life of an unemployed person. Like my if you looked at my movements, it would really look like I'm unemployed.
it's a Schrodinger's job.
Kinda. I mean, I couldn't get into it the last couple of days because there was blood all up the walls.
Yeah, well,
For
there is that.
context, for context, someone got right
Yeah.
outside my door. Like I was leaving work, and like where my work's, it's it's like it's flats, but it's one of
Uh,
these like long ass blocks of flats where you have like a full walkway of a close to get to certain doors.
yeah.
But it's got like a railing, so you can like see out and all that. So when I go out, like when I leave the front door, there's a railing. I turn left and walk all the way to one side to go down one stairwell, or I turn right and I go slightly less of a distance to go down the other stairwell. And I normally go left just out of habit, but that
Uh-huh.
night when I left, I heard some people on the stairwell shouting and arguing with each other. And then I
Uh-huh.
thought, I'm locking up the door at this point, but out the corner of my eye, I thought I saw somebody coming up and just kind of lingering near the garbage chute.
Right.
So I went the other way and went down the stairs,
Uh-huh.
went home, went to bed, no bother. Got up the next morning, went back to work, coming up the stairs, and there's two police at the top of the stairs going, I take my headphones off and I'm just like, oh Jesus, what's going on? And I'm just like, oh, just mind the blood, mate. I look down and there's fucking blood everywhere. Like,
Oh, shit.
should this not be like taped off? What the fuck? And the guy's like, nah, just did you see it? Did you hear it? And by the way, and I was like, what the fuck? Didn't even see the blood in front of me that I'm standing in.
Just perception check failed.
I was playing Monster Hunter now, innit?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I suppose what you're walking to find the next thing.
Aye. So anyway, somebody get plugged, and I think it happened at the top of the left set of stairs, and they walked all the way down in front of the door I need to get in, and all the way down to the other stairwell.
For
Uh,
for for anyone watching outside of Scotland, plug means stabbed.
it's such a weird term for it though, because it's like the opposite of a plug. Like a plug would stop the leak.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it's a plug if you put it in and then let it stay there. I guess that's kind of like a plug.
I guess.
We have a weird way of talking, man. I was talking about this with Florin, how so much of the Scottish language is contextual because
Yeah,
we just make words mean whatever the fuck we need them to mean in that moment just by context alone.
yeah. There's a lot implied in like the way Scottish people speak.
Well, it's even established words, established nomenclature that we have for certain things just changes on a dime. Like how many different things is a coupon? Am I
Yeah.
talking about your face, a bet, or something you're trying to get money off with? Mug? How many different mugs can we go through? You're a
Yeah,
mug, I've got a mug, I'm mugged off, and
a drink for a mug.
like, aye, exactly. We're incredibly flowery with our language, which is wild. We've only really got the one big poet or whatever, you know. We're also apparently one of the only nations in the world that sings music.
Huh?
Like,
Right?
see if there's like an instrumental section for a song.
Uh-huh.
We are one of the few countries in the world that will sing just the notes.
Right, aye, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Like
So I'm trying to think of like a
like
good.
the kind of football chant type thing.
Like if the Strokes Reptilia came on, Scottish people are one of the few nations in the world that will go da 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 da
Or
da da da. You know what I
or
mean?
Chelsea Dagger starts playing.
Aye, that, but less shite and cringe. Sorry,
Yeah,
boys, but if we're still dancing along to Chelsea Dagger at this point, then there's no helping you.
no,
It wasn't even that good to begin with.
no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't even shite.
Yeah, I was never really an indie person, to be fair. I was too into that Mosher shit.
Oh, you had golf, aye. Man, I miss all that power.
It was shocking, Patter.
It was garbage, but it was my garbage.
Aye, I suppose.
Like, you don't get, what's the word I'm looking for here? You don't get defensive over a bin unless it's your bin.
Aye.
You don't want to smell shite unless it's your shite.
So anyway, what were your thoughts on the story? So we got away from that again.
Of what, Armored Core?
No, the story that I told you on the stream just now.
Oh, fuck, yeah, no, but my main thought was I want to see a movie of it, and if there was a movie of it,
Yeah.
who would play the Killdozer? Who do you want to see trapped inside a metal box of death just going slowly nuts and, like, demolishing a town?
uh, um, I mean, maybe Bryan Cranston, but he's retired from acting.
Has he?
Yeah, supposedly, yeah.
See, to be fair, though, right? He made a name for himself by being one of the most beloved figures in one of the most beloved sitcom TV shows of our generation. Then he buggered off for a wee while, and then he came back as another smash success, face of a major franchise. And then they stuck him in Godzilla and just fucking killed him for no reason. Like, I think he got out while the going was good.
Yeah.
They were
What
starting.
do we have here? Oh,
They were coming along, and they were like, Brian, we haven't got all the milk from those teats that we can extract yet. Can we have just a little bit more, please, Brian? And he went, oh no, I'm gonna retire. More people
so
need
yeah,
to
I
do that.
think he would have fit the bill. I'm pretty sure. Or maybe Jim Carrey could reprise his "Kinda Hot in These Rhinos" scene.
That'd be good. He tries to squeeze out the barrel of the tank. Speaking of squeezing out barrels of tanks and how we would fit them and all that, we should probably do an Armored Core retrospective now that we've actually
We
both
should.
completed it.
Yes, I'm up for that.
Alright, so you're definitely more favourable towards it than I am, so let's just get that out the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what do you think?
I really liked the journey that the game took me on.
Do you
Because
think?
so like not necessarily the story. The story was all right. And like
Do you think?
if you're a Gundam fan like I am, you know, like the references all being there, and like the parallels that you can draw between one character and, you know, a character that you kind of know. You know, like there's a lot of that in it, and
Real proud of
it's
yourself for
you
that,
know
aren't you?
well, it's fan service. But it's what I was gonna say. Um, but yeah, you're poisoned. There you go.
Yeah, I don't like that
Um,
that's the new mechanic the game's introducing.
yeah.
It was 100% my uncle that sold it to the Mongols as well. They were like, oh, well, I'm so sorry that we won in that battle using tactics that weren't mine. I'll sell the tactics that aren't mine to you so we can have a fair fight next time. You just poisoned your own men, you stupid fuck. Honestly, I hate him.
You gotta love the Again, the game using like the visuals to tell you things, like that they make your vision all blurry when you're poisoned.
Can you guys fall, please? I've got a trophy for knocking somebody off a high ledge, and you guys seem to have the most
You've
gladiatorial stance.
you've got to use either the upward kick from this stance. You've got to use the upward kick, or you've got to use the shoulder barge. Those are the two moves that will send someone off a cliff.
Sure, I'm trying.
Yeah, you got literally a pile of bodies around you.
And what is this guy, arrow proof? Oh shit.
Oh yeah, he's a big one.
Jesus, come on.
So what I was saying is it's not necessarily the journey that it took me on story wise or anything like that. It was purely in like gameplay wise and learning the game.
Oh man, we had different journeys.
Yeah, I know we did, because there was one point where you very definitely took a dip in terms of whether you were going to keep playing the game or not.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the thing was, I felt like the marketing was unbelievably misleading this time around. I went into it expecting so
Yeah,
much, and
I
absolutely
get you.
none of it. Well, look at the story beats, right? The marketing, we saw a scene of a dude who looked like one of the battery people from the Matrix getting pulled out of a tank, and we were supposed to imply that that was the character that we were playing as. So I was like, oh, cool, I can't wait to see
Yeah.
more about that and find out more about Handler Walter and find out what we're actually doing here. Nah, fuck that. All right, okay. Well, how about the whole like Raven thing? Like we've taken his identity, and that's going to come into it. There's going to be people that like know the original Raven. Oh no, it's more of a title than an actual name, right? Okay, so there's a bunch of them then. Great.
Mhm.
Uh, okay, and then it just kind of all of the story beats that I was hoping for didn't really happen. So then it did become the gameplay. But as soon as I found that Zimmerman shotgun, not knowing that it was actually like broken as fuck, I didn't
Yeah.
need anything else. I realized really quickly that the melee weapons are really powerful. So
Mhm.
any combination that lets me use them, open up the enemy, and then just do a couple of big blasty blasts. As soon as I found the combination of like melee weapon, Zimmerman, the two ear shots on the shoulders, and the boost kick, man, that was it. I didn't
Yeah.
really didn't need to change anything for a long time.
Mhm. And again, like we seem to have had a different like machine journey as well, because all of my machines, well, not all of them, there were some kind of heavier ones as well, but most of my like machines were mid or light builds, and they were usually bipeds. So like it was like two of the machines that won me most of the boss fights were reverse joints, the bird legs.
Hmm.
I liked being able to jump. I liked the machine being light enough that the quick boost actually took me a decent distance in any direction if I was locked on. So it became like a sort of like a dodge type dance for me, really, when I was playing it.
Yeah, see, I kind of wish there was more options for that. Like the way that it's going. Well, right. I'll start right from the start of my kind of issues with it, and then move through them. The first thing that I had a problem with was the healing.
Yeah.
Why?
So specifically, you're talking about how the healing requires you to be doing nothing else at that particular moment, and not be like mid firing something else.
Well, that, but not necessarily just that. More what I'm getting at immediately is look at healing as a function in any of the other From games, right?
Yeah.
So You are in a land where you have been afflicted by the undead curse. You've got a magic potion that when you drink the magic potion, it makes you feel a little bit better. And
Uh-huh.
drinking is something that we all do, so we can all
Hmm.
understand that. We understand that it takes time, and that it can either have like a slow effect or you can feel immediate benefits from it, whatever, however the game decides
Hmm.
to handle that. That's fine. But when it's a robot and
Yeah.
you're pressing a button, which I have to crab hand to press, why? Another complaint, but it's a feature of From games. You got a crab hand, as if we've not evolved from the fucking PSP. But like, what is actually functionally happening when a robot heals? Is it changing its battery pack? What is it doing? Is it pulsing electricity through?
Nanomachine, son.
Well, yeah, but that's never explained. Like, what is the actual function of healing as a robot? How does it work? And then after we've gotten through the what am I actually doing that requires, because you would think if it's a robot and it's just sending some kind of electrical charge through, or it's like replacing a battery pack somewhere or something like that, it wouldn't take that much time, and I would be able to do it as well as doing any other movement, but
Yeah.
you can't. So it seems like there's something. It's almost as if your guy inside the unit is taking damage and they're doing something to themselves, but you never get to see that. So healing just feels
Yeah.
like a really strange. Like there's not even any kind of feedback to let you know that you've successfully healed.
Yeah, it's just like a little flash.
Barely even. It's not like, at least in Dark Souls, I press
Hmm.
the take a drink button. My guy takes a drink. I understand that action, can follow it through. My brain is happy with everything that's going on, and then he puts the drink away, and then he continues on. It makes sense. What is the robot doing? And more to the point, if it's a robot, and if the point is to jump in and out of these quick style missions, would it not feel better to just have a deeper health pool that allows you to take more damage and make a few more mistakes without having to worry about a crab hand and an additional mechanic? Like, there were so many fights that I was in where I feel like I could have gotten through it and it would have been a really intense encounter if I just had been able to crab hand a little bit faster to continue the fight. It's almost like you're
Sounds
being.
like sounds like you need a tetrapod, my guy.
It still heals 3 times, right?
Still heals 3 times, but the pool of health is much bigger, and you can hover midair as well, which gives you time to potentially it's one kind of less decision almost because you're above potentially or in line with your enemy.
Yeah, like I get that there are things in the game that can help to counteract that as a thing in the first place, but just
Hmm.
mechanically, why not just have the robot's health pool, or even like individual limb health, like in Fallout?
Yeah,
Like, would it not have been better
yeah.
if I took enough shots to the right shoulder, my weapon got disabled, and then I was nerfed slightly for the remainder of that run because I took damage to a specific location too many times?
That's that there is another mech game that does that, and it's Mech Warrior. So it's I think it's Mech Warrior. It's either Mech Warrior or Mech Commander. It's one of the two. I think it might be Commander actually, but anyway, it has the whole like body part durability thing going on, but it's a turn-based game,
Ooh, I
so
like
it's
that.
like it's like tactics, kind of point and click, limited movement per turn, actions that you can spend, accuracy percentages, things like that. All that good XCOM Baldur's Gate 3 stuff.
Yeah, I do like me that. Do like me that a lot.
But I
Okay.
do like I do understand what you mean. Like, why don't we just have instead of heals? Why don't we just have more health? Yeah, I get that because I think I think like it's like it's maybe taking into account the other kind of aspect of healing in a FromSoft game, which is this is how many mistakes you're allowed to make.
That totally makes sense, but in in the FromSoft games, you can do stuff to increase how many mistakes you're allowed to make, and you can do different things to, kind of counteract.
Yeah.
You learn more and more and more as you go through it, and you can learn enemy patterns. But in this one, the enemy pattern is just skate about, pew pew pew, and try and hit you with something big. Like the enemies, apart from the big scripted set bosses, every encounter is very samey.
So see like before we move on to that next thing, they had the perfect place to include like more heals. Like they give you an upgrade that lets you increase how much you're healed by. They could have just added more charges to that by spending some more of those points. Alternatively, they could have had it as an add-in for your machine, like that slot that you can put pulse armor or terminal armor into. Let us plug something in there that gives us like 1 or 2 extra heals.
Yeah, something like that. Just
That
uh,
I would have been into that.
either that, or like I'm saying, just give me the maximum health pool of each unit and just make it's a robot. Once it's disactivated, it's once it's disabled, it's disabled. It doesn't. We
Aye.
can't change its batteries and make it feel better.
The other aspect, I suppose, you've got to consider is like it does set a level playing field for PvP, which is an element of this game.
Does it?
Yeah, because it means that everyone, with the PvP, do you get to heal? I think there's maybe versions of it where you might get to heal, but I think you may mainly go in with 0 heals in
Well,
PvP. Is
then
that right?
again,
Like
I'm not
arena?
sure. I'm not sure. I've not really done. No, in the arena, I think you get healed. I can't remember already. But would you not think then that again having a deeper health pool, thereby giving you more time in an active PvP encounter, would be a better thing?
Yeah, I think that if they're trying to make it parallel to the arena, then I mean the arena you go in with no heals. It's just you and that whatever machine you've loaded into VR. But like that, I think it's very much with this game. It does seem to be like how many mistakes you can make. That's kind of where I'm kind of leading back round to with that, I suppose, because that seems like the most logical thing for it for me. But it would have been nice to be able to expand on it. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
So
Um.
you're talking about the missions. The missions was the next thing you were going on to.
Yeah. So the actual structure of levels. Now,
Uh,
I didn't mind the concept of missions, but what I did mind was getting shown an absolutely gorgeous FromSoft environment, and then every time I wanted to go and take a look at it, some little orange walls would fly up in my face and go area limit reached. Or I'd be like,
yeah.
oh look, that's a great vantage point up there, upper limit reached. Oh, great.
hmm
Oh look, there's a perfect ledge that I can stand on and watch this giant ice worm doing its thing. Upper limit reached.
Yeah.
Area limit reached.
Yeah, that was irritating. See, specifically for like the height stuff, because like I feel that there's like if I wanted to keep going up, I feel like I should be able to do that. I mean, fair enough. Like there should maybe be like a hard limit, but it should be much higher.
Yeah, I mean, I would have much preferred a game where we were just put on the planet's surface and we just had
Uh
to go
huh.
around and find and take jobs, and the jobs would lead us into new areas and stuff like that. But the fact that it was mission based, fine, okay. But if you're going to make it mission based, let me explore the environment, or do what you did in the kind of later half of the games, put it in environments where exploration is through tight underground spaces where you can kind of make all this wall and roof thing make sense because there is actually walls and a roof.
Yeah.
So
Or yeah, like in one of the mines or in the like in these big kind of like huge factory things where you've got like clearly defined rooms and corridors. It makes sense there, but like
Yeah,
not being able to fly further above the battlefield. I mean, it would have been really cool to like I think see if they had introduced like wing packs or something. Like if you could swap
yeah,
out your shoulder units for a wing pack,
yeah.
and you could have a much more aerial suit. I think that would have been, that would have been definitely. They would have had to have like had a no or a much higher upper limit.
I would have loved to have had some kind of build that was like the wing diver from EDF.
Yeah, it would have been cool to like have a more aerial design. That's maybe something they could expand on with it. Let us fly about, man.
That's the thing. Like this almost feels like a reset for the series in a way.
Hmm.
Like I've not played any of the previous games, so I don't know how that stands up in gameplay terms. But in terms of just like the actual public perception of an Armored Core game, it feels like this is a reset
Hmm.
button that is being allowed to be pressed off the back of the prestige that their last 10 years of Souls likes have garnered for them. You know,
Yeah,
at this point, if FromSoft brought out a new Kingsfield game, everyone would be talking about Kingsfield when right
yeah,
now, absolutely nobody. People don't even know that that is a From game, you know?
yeah. Well, people don't go back that far.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
lucky if people go back further than Souls.
Yeah, I mean, I remember 3D Dog Game Heroes, and that was PS3. So
I
even
remember, I remember there was a game that they made with Activision, Hiss Spit, um, on the GameCube, and it was basically somewhere between like Card Captor and Yu-Gi-Oh, and you had little monster cards that you threw out, and monsters came out of them. It was called Lost Kingdoms, and it was cool.
oh, it's not the one I thought it was. I told you about that fucking game that I got for the PS3 called Eye of Judgment, didn't I?
Oh yeah, yeah. It was supposed to use the PSI.
Yeah, such a cool idea, but such poor execution, and they really. This was like the Wild West days of trophies where it wasn't regulated and Sony hadn't put in mandates for it. So every single trophy in the game was tied to going out and paying £15 for a physical deck.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it was insane. I think that might have been
No.
one of the that might have been one of the games that actually set the whole you must be able to achieve it with what comes on disc rule.
Well, this game, it was like it had all the ingredients that if it actually took off, it would be pretty good because like it had local multiplayer, so you could like card fight against each other.
Cool.
Using like either your own or like different save data. Presumably, if someone else had gotten a copy of the game and brought their memory over, so like you could fight each other. Presumably, if the game had gotten popular enough for people to buy it en masse. It didn't, by the way. It was a total kind of flop at the time, I suppose you could call it. But it's kind of has a very small cult following now.
I can't wait for the What Happened episode on it.
Yes, it's bound to have some information worthy of one. I always said that I would, like, if I ever had the infrastructure to do it, it would be one of the games that I would stream and play
Oh, cool.
because
We'll get
I
there.
kind of know it inside out, and if it's something I have the infrastructure to do, I would probably enjoy playing that.
There were so many games in so many ways that I would love for us to do if we were only able to. But it seems to
We
be
only
kind
had the
of.
means.
Well, I mean, we kind of seem to be living in a time where if we just wait long enough, they'll remake it on console anyway. So
Yes, for Mighty as the remake.
yeah, I can't wait for the Metal Gear Master Collection.
Oh man, we are going to do Metal Gear Rising on this channel.
I'm gonna do literally every Metal Gear game on this because Metal Gear is easily in my top three game franchises of all time. Not sure exactly where in the top three it sits, but it's in there cuddling up with Final Fantasy and Monster Hunter.
Well, we do have redeemed
Fuck.
in the redeemed games list. We have one Metal Gear game, like any one Metal Gear game, I believe.
And I always said
Um,
I was waiting for Snake Eater.
and the other one, of course, is Metal Gear Rising itself. Did get redeemed by, I think it was Bebop.
God, yeah, I'm just waiting for it.
I cannot wait. I am so excited for it because it is just a big dumb, like, basically if this was made into a movie and Kojima-san had partnered up with a director, it would probably be Michael Bay.
Yeah,
Like this
yeah.
game is it's over the top in ways that, like, obviously Metal Gear as an entity is generally quite over the top in a lot of ways. This one totally jumps the shark. It is like bonkers some of the things that happen in this.
Here's a terrible analogy for it, but th- fuck, what were we literally just talking about?
Metal Gear Rising.
Yeah, Metal Gear Rising is to the Metal Gear Solid series what Resident Evil 6 is to Resident Evil series.
Okay, yeah, I mean Resident Evil 6 did get a lot of you know criticism and recognition for being the most blockbustery of the Resident Evil modern games.
Look, Ronan, you just hang on just a little bit longer. When the Metal Gear Master Collection comes out, you'll be getting every Metal Gear game. All of them. The entire, even the MSX ones.
But
You're more than
the
welcome to join me for that, by the way. Both of you. I mean, really. I just want to play Metal Gear again with anyone. Anyone.
but I am excited about MGR and playing that on here because you've not played it,
Nope.
and it is a gap in the Metal Gear, I suppose, timeline, you could maybe call it.
It's a weird one for me to be missing, considering that I've played so many Metal Gear games, even the weird ones.
Uh-huh.
Like, I've played Acid in high school. I used to take my PSP into high school and play Metal Gear Acid at lunch.
Well, this is another one of the weird ones, but it's weird for different reasons.
Great, though. Shit, there was something I was going to say there off the back of that. And I totally can't. Oh, I remember. Uh, there is a game currently sitting in my cart.
Mm-hmm.
It is £20 on the sale.
20
And
bangers.
20, yeah. And I feel like it might be a fun one. Like, I'm gonna get it for myself just because I really want to play it because I really like the source material. But maybe we could add it to it. I don't know. You let me know. Berserk, Band of the Hawk.
Oh yeah, you were eyeing that up last week.
Yeah, it's on sale for 20 quid now.
Nice.
And then there is also a like £2 DLC that adds in a whole bunch of extra stuff from the Eclipse.
Cool. So I mean, I'm all for some Berserk content. It's still not really recognized for what it really is. I mean, with no Berserk, there would be no Dark Souls.
No Cloud, no Buster Sword.
No, there are so many things that Berserk, there's so many things in, like, kind of pop, video game, anime, RPG culture that owe themselves to Berserk in various different ways.
It's one of the things where, I've heard a lot of people, you especially, talking about it with a really high regard and thinking, right, okay, this has inspired almost everything that I actually like. So
Hmm.
maybe I should take a look at this. And now that I've actually like gotten into the full thing, know everything that happens, caught up with it, yeah, this it's special, man. If you haven't, check if you're sitting there and you haven't checked out Berserk. It's not for everyone because it's pretty hardcore with a lot of its themes and a lot of its events, but
Hmm.
it is in no way like gratuitous for the sake of it.
Yeah, it's not like
Everything,
episode 1 of Goblin Slayer, for example.
yeah, like everything that it does is part of the story, and the story is worth reading. It's worth telling. It
Hmm.
really is just fucking awesome.
Yeah, and like the. I always really like that. There's one part in particular, that if you are in any way like endeared to the idea of this, then it's probably worth a look for you. It's the bit where Guts draws the sword for the first time,
In the tavern.
and the no against the skeletons.
All right, okay,
The
okay.
draws the dragon slayer. And all of a sudden we get an epic music break, and the narrator starts speaking, and it says something like, I'm going to get the exact wording wrong, but it's something like, his weapon was far too large to rightly be called a sword.
Which, if anybody is wondering, there is a lore reason for that, which is fucking badass.
Yep.
It's so good. There's a lore reason for why he goes for a big sword in the first place, and why that sword in particular is the size that it is.
Yep. But yeah, all your big sword anime characters have their roots in Guts.
Man, I always remember you telling me Guts has had a hard life and just being like, oh yeah, he sounds cool. Now that I've read it, I'm like, oh my god, you were underselling it.
Yeah. He is the tortured edgy.
Alright, these guys made it good and easy for me. Hey, you know what? Uncle's not going to show up as a Force Ghost and be disappointed in me for doing ninja stuff.
Yeah, we're kind of disowned at the moment, aren't we?
Oh, fuck him. He was going to lead the country into servitude to the Mongols. Honestly, I think he's just projecting real hard right now because he knows that he's an ineffective leader.
He knows he's losing.
I'm not saying that it's in any way similar to current events, but when somebody thinks they're all that and then they start throwing their weight around and then they realise that their weight isn't actually that heavy, and, you know, we guys that they thought weren't going to be an issue start slapping them about and making them look fucking silly, you start to get a wee bit desperate, and then you start doing stuff like, you know, aiming at aircraft over your own space or something. I don't know. Something.
Something like that. But yeah, where did we get to in the Armored Core?
So we were talking about the mission
Talking about
structure.
missions.
I
Yeah.
think the next thing to go on to is the weapons that you use to get through those missions. Because, like I say, mission
Okay.
structure, it is what it is. You can't really say too much about it other than it's
Okay.
just it's levels. It makes the game, to me, feel PS2-y as fuck because the levels are quite
Yeah.
short.
Yeah, because it's level based, it does conjure, like, kind of, back when more games did have a level structure rather than a world that you go to parts of, or a map that you go to parts of.
You kill my horse, I kill all yours. Yeah, motherfuckers.
And it does conjure memories of, like, kind of like games that were like that before. Like, it makes me think of like things like Devil May Cry.
Yeah, which, sidebar, that's getting an animated series.
It is from the Castlevania peeps.
And if you look up the name of the guy who is making it, one of the first
Uh-huh.
pic- one of the first images that you get is him in a banging Dante cosplay.
So it's probably in good hands.
I think the dude might be aware of the source material, which is more than we can say for a lot of fucking adaptations.
So the missions for me, like I one of the things that I kind of realized pretty quickly was that not all the missions are created equal,
No.
and you can really kind of tell whether a mission's going to be a piece of piss that lasts for like less than 10 minutes, or a big sprawling thing that, or a huge boss fight that's going to take you maybe 20 or 30.
Attempts, minimum.
Yeah.
In some
or
instances.
or it's going to, you can tell when it's going to be like maybe a larger level to go through. A larger play area, more things to pick up three of or whatever.
I just looked at
But
the reward money, and if it was
yeah,
decent,
that's
I was
usually
like,
the
oh
giveaway.
god.
Yeah, the reward money usually is the indicator of, is this mission going to just be a quick one or not? And I suppose there was kind of something to that. I think where it gets a lot of its where a lot of the positive elements of that come through is when you think of it in the sense that the game is being presented to you as completely faceless. Like, for example, you never see what your character looks like, aside from maybe that trailer where you see that sort of person hooked up to machines that's basically a lump of flesh. Like a Dune Guild navigator, basically.
I tell you what would have been even just a little thing that would have probably been just enough for me. See in the bit where we are captured and there's a shitty jailbreak AC left for us.
Uh huh.
Even just something of us as a dude crawling over to that.
Yeah. Yeah, even like a kind of a partial image, I would have been happy with that. But like that's the thing, and that's what I mean in the sense is the way the game's presented to you is that not once in Armored Core do you see a human face. Like so,
Okay, okay. You see three in a photograph,
yeah, photograph, yeah.
so they do exist.
Yeah, so like you see three in a photograph. That is true. There are photographs in the game, and you do see people in them. But when a character is like speaking to you, when you've got a message from them, or like when Handler Walter sends you a message, you never see Walter's face. It's just the emblem that he wears,
Yeah.
that he presents, like the same as the emblem that you make for yourself. If you can be bothered. But
Oh, I could.
and the like that whole sort of dehumanizing, element to it. That is kind of part of the experience, I would say, and it's like there's no. That like there's no like there's no humanity. There is only the mission. There is only the job. And that being a thing with that sort of no human element to it whatsoever. Like that alongside the mission structure, it kind of does something right, I think. But the because you don't have that, you kind of rely more on the you would kind of rely more on what you would in other FromSoft games where you get the lore from the items, you get more of what's going on from the items, and you do get data logs.
You don't get to look at them.
Yeah, you don't get a look at you do get data logs, you do get like little like sort of lore files, if you like, that you can pick up through the levels. They don't give you that much, and it's really only current events that really matter. It matters what unfolds in Armored Core, not rather than what's been. You do get a bit of reference back to things that have happened in the past, but it's only to set up what current events are happening, the struggle between these factions.
And even they don't really get fleshed out that much. You know, each one gets like a couple of representatives, but I still don't even understand like what are they as entities? What does it mean? Like, why are
Other
they fighting
they're
over
arms
this planet?
companies. So I can probably. I mean, would it help if I went through some armored lore?
Maybe, but it's not like I'm trying to think of the way to word this. I get
Because I did pick up on some.
I get what they are, and I get why they're there. I just don't think that the actual reasoning or whatever is particularly well presented. So it does feel, like they all kind of band together for certain things and then break apart for the other things and shit like that. And it's more like what are the politics here? Like, why? What is the ultimate? What is the end goal? I get that you want the coral so that you can turn it into a thing, but there's surely like there's a lot of it, yeah.
But I mean, there's a good bit of it, but it does really come down to it really does come down to a resource grab. That's basically what the core thing of it is. As you say, it's all centered around the coral, and the coral is a ridiculous energy source unlike anything that's ever been seen before. And there was a conflict on Rubicon before, but it created what they called the Fires of Ibis, which was a huge coral inferno that essentially wiped out a whole kind of basically the surface of the planet, and it stretched out into space and contaminated vast portions of space as well.
Yeah.
And then they go when the now that this has happened, like they've started finding upsurges of this coral stuff on the planet, and the corporations, the arms companies, the people who make the weapons that this stuff powers, they all want into. It's essentially a gold rush. They want to find the big untapped source, the big well of coral. They want to be the first to find it, and get access to it first. And I suppose that's the core conceit of the all the different factions in it. That's what they want. Rubicon Liberation Front just wants for the coral to stay where it is and for Rubicon to be left alone. And the PCA, the Planetary Closure Authority, are the ones who kind of want to ensure that that doesn't happen. They don't want a disaster on that scale to happen again, and they are essentially the cops.
Space cats.
Yeah, they're essentially the Emperor's Space Legion, who will come down and give everybody a right good talking to.
Right, we know more of
Usually,
that.
usually at the point of a railgun. But yeah, like that's the kind of whole balance of it, and then you start to get these kind of rogue elements who are people like you, a character who's an independent. He's not part of any of these corporations. He's and you, as you get into the game, you assume the identity of a hired gun, someone who will sell their services as a pilot, and will do so with any side in this like corporate war. You'll fight for Balaam Group, who are militaristic, and they act like an army when they make weapons, and they make suits, and they make engines and all that sort of thing. They have little subsidiary companies that make up even more stuff. And then you have Arquebus, who are like the sort of elite aerodynamic, like all the like really efficient stuff. And there's other little, they're the kind of two main players in the corpos, but there's like other little ones here and there and everywhere that they kind of fill in the blanks. There's one that you really loved the name of when you first saw it, which was
Boz.
Bouse.
No, it's
Boz, yeah,
not.
BAWS, it's Boz.
It's Boz.
And they're apparently when you look into their lore, they're just like they'll just sell stuff to anyone. They are they're the smart price arms company.
Ah, right, okay.
They're the Aldi of armored core materials.
Jesus.
But yeah, and you'll because you're independent, you can take jobs from either side, and you can fight for one side one week, and then maybe in a couple of missions down the line, you're fighting for the opposite side. And occasionally you have to make decisions in between, but usually you can just go between wherever the money is. And yeah, that's kind of how, with that, kind of unfolding, I really quite enjoyed the way that the politics were flying about all over the place. It's not storytelling in, a more concrete sense, and as I say, the story could be better. But I kind of I liked the very, kind of regimented, dehumanized, video gamey elements of it, I suppose.
It was an interesting blend of elements. Sometimes it worked better than others. But, even in this whole
Maybe I just need
faceless...
to lure. Maybe I just need to lure you through it like Bloodborne.
Maybe. Even in this big corporal war, though, where, we don't see any human people, there were a few characters that were able to stand out.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there was one. There was one. It was Rusty. Rusty stood out. It was just Rusty.
Yep. Rusty is essentially Armored Core Solaire.
Yeah. He's pretty cool, man. I really do like Rusty, but everybody else sucks.
I mean, there was some characters that you just sort of love to hate, like that little shit Iguazu, and V2 Snail, absolutely loathsome. Hated that guy.
Ugh, yeah.
Just talked through his nose the entire time. If it was dramatized years ago, it would have been Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman as V2 Snail.
I don't know. I imagine this one being a bit heavier. Quite a rotund gentleman because he was in one of those like big chunky boy ACs.
Chunky boy in a chunky suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the big legs. He had the Sazabi legs on.
The wasabi legs?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's a Gundam unicorn thing.
I got you. Right, so
But
it was okay. It was okay.
Yeah. I think I kind of was like fine tooth combing like I do with games from FromSoft nowadays. And I did manage to pick up on some interesting stuff, and like there's some interesting like kind of elements to it. Overall, it's a very, very simple story, and like when you strip it all back, all the politics away, the story does kind of like, right, okay, well, you can do it this way or you can do it that way, and there's one more ending, but it kind of breaks the fourth wall in the sense that you're required to kind of know how each ending pans out.
Oh, hey, it's this guy.
Yeah. I believe he has one last secret to show us.
Oh, is this going to be how to make fire without... Okay.
Yeah. Is this going to be how to set your sword on fire?
Cool. You better be careful, man, with that instrument in the cold. The strings will be contracting.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty if you play a guitar in the cold, it's not uncommon for the strings to snap.
Yep. I it's generally quite bad for a guitar if you have like if you have it in a place where there's like temperature changes.
Also, air pressure changes. So
Hmm.
my guitar used to have a couple of dead frets on it, and I took it to Canada with me, and I forgot to loosen the strings, and the
Hmm.
change in pressure made the strings tighten up so much that it bent the neck of the guitar a little bit,
Oh shit.
but it fixed the dead frets. I got so lucky.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not going to touch the truss rod, but you know, Plane did it for me. The art's so good.
The way of the flame.
That's a cool trick, man. Makes you a belter at a target if you're fighting in the dark, though. Just aim it around the sword.
So I mean, I know you said that what like in terms of like the gameplay, you kind of had eventually your winning suit, which was essentially your Zims, shotguns, your earshot grenade launchers,
Just one
um,
Zim.
just one Zim.
And at first it was just the kind of sword that they start you with, and then I
All right,
moved
yeah,
on to the chain whip, and then I moved on to the Moonlight Greatsword, and then the arc shot.
nice. So I so like and was that like kind of genuinely kind of like your build all the way through, or did you do any like experimenting?
I did a little bit of experimenting. Whenever I came up against something that was particularly difficult, I would always try something new and interesting to see if I could overcome it.
Yeah,
I wanted to make use of things that put in the status effects. There only being two in the game, but
yeah,
electric discharge seemed like a really interesting mechanic, and I wanted to make a build around that. So I did like a double stun needle build for a while, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, I tried everything. I went into the AC build whenever I got something new just to test it out and see what it was like. But just everything, it kind of felt like as soon as I took the suit that I was comfortable with off, I was adjusting the game's difficulty for myself.
mm.
But the point was to get through the mission. So if I adjust the difficulty, it makes my end goal harder to achieve. So why would I do that?
Yeah. I see what you're saying. When when I was like kind of going through it, like there were like I definitely had a favorite type of suit. It was definitely a biped, whether it was bird legs or human legs. It kind of depended on how heavy the suit was, but it was always like a biped. I did fuck around with tetrapods for a while. They were kind of cool, but never ever bought any of the tank bodies.
Oh yeah, no, I bought one of them and I tried it, but the power slide was dog shit.
Like there was one that kind of interested me, and that was like see the really small boxy tank treads,
Oh yeah, another one.
the little quick one. That interested me, but like I didn't really kind of see the appeal of just being a tank. I'd rather be a mobile suit.
I would have liked missions where there was more of a necessity to switch to something like that. Like if there was a one where it was, oh shit, I'm stuck. If
Yep,
there was
go
one where
back
it
to
was
fire.
almost like a race. Oh Jesus, Fire's too far back. Fire's all the way over here. Can I even get back
Oh
to fire
no.
from here? Oh no, I can't even get back to fire from here. Oh shit. Is
God
this...
damn.
No, I can't claim that. Can I claim this? Nope. Oh man, this isn't easy.
It
Is there
is
anything to
not.
claim over here? Nope. Is there anything to claim over this way? No. Am I just missing something?
I think it might have been like more apparent to us from from maybe if we had seen it as we were coming up, but you've been going back to the start and coming up, and I can't see anything either.
Yeah, you tend to be like, oh, there we go. There we go. Found it.
Hey,
Okay, we're
oh, and
still
a
good.
fire.
Well, my body.
But yeah, like I did kind of mess around with a bunch of different kind of weapon type things. I ended up having like kind of some quite interesting suits by the end of it. So my kind of, I suppose you could my top three.
Okay.
One was bird legs mids, like mid weight. So it had loads of jump, loads of mobility. It had the light laser rifles in each hand, and it had at one point it had like a majestic bazooka that it could swap in on one hand. I swapped that out to an earshot when I got them,
Yeah.
and on the other side the plasma missiles, the ones that fire straight up.
That wasn't it.
And yeah, so that was kind of like one of my main ones, and then there was one that I kind of, to be honest, I kind of came up with it after Balteus. And yeah, we got to talk about the bosses at some point, but it was one that I wanted to do Balteus. I wanted to do the fastest, lightest machine that I could that did like dual machine gun, like just relentless spraying,
Yeah.
and then have that same machine have like a really fast melee weapon or like a powerful for a while it was songbirds, you know, the double grenade launcher.
Mm.
For a while it was that, but that eventually changed to being a missile pack on one shoulder and the. Did you ever try the laser lance?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
The
it was
big poke.
that, but yeah, on a really light machine, it was pretty nuts. So yeah, eventually that get like refined down, and it was the machine that I beat the final boss with. Just I just boosted around spraying with bullets, and then it was the laser dagger that it had,
Yeah.
the one that has 3 hits.
Yeah. I like that one.
So yeah, it ended up having that, and yeah, it was just adrenaline fest. Like I think that was the thing that I kind of liked about the game the most in terms of the gameplay was it was like I I felt like it needed like some degree of focus to it, and I felt like it was like when I was playing it, like with some of the more intense like boss fights and stuff, it was like quite, it was quite intense. There was like more than once I finished the stage on 1 health because of the terminal armor.
Yeah.
There's more than once I finished on 1 AP, and and it was like, and breathe out, we've done it.
The game was really good for creating like good one. The game was at its absolute best when you were doing a decent 1v1. Like Ibis
Oh
Eh,
fuck yeah.
Ibis Air, Walter, and I guess Iguazu were
Hmm.
pretty good fights. I think that's when the game is really, fuck's sake, is really at its
Hmm.
peak. But when you're out
Yeah.
exploring the kind of world, it's what I think would have made it more interesting for me is if there was a lot more hot swapping weapons. Like you could find destroyed armored cores with like a machine gun and be
Hmm.
like, all right, cool, I'm gonna drop this weapon and take that one.
Yeah. And I think if they had made the the kind of levels more open, like if they had had like, because you did go back to certain like maps more than once, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if they'd made that bigger, maybe stuck a couple of the maps together
Yeah, something
and
like that.
said like, right, okay, here is a slightly more open area you can go to. Here are some wrecks. Yeah, you can swap a weapon out, but the weapon you leave behind is gone,
Yeah, that
and
would
they
have been
have to
awesome.
buy it again.
That would have been awesome because that would have been given money like an infinite use. Because
Hmm.
when you buy everything, you have nothing left to spend it on. So by the time I was finished getting the platinum, I think I had like 20 million spare.
Do you know what it needs? The game needs a grinding lance.
Yeah, even if there was some way to spend the money to overspec certain things,
Yeah,
like
I mean,
fine tune it.
there's the upgrade that you can get where you go into battle overburdened. Like that is probably the closest thing to what you're describing essentially. Like you can start the game overloaded with like a really ridiculous heavy weapons platform, and then like once you've like fired that off, it like breaks apart and you're like a lighter suit.
Yeah, that would have been cool. It would have been cool if there. Oh shit! How did you get up here?
Oh, a bear.
Well, I'm just gonna leave you be. Um, oh, I guess Jin's got other ideas. Jin, come on, mate. It's too cold to be fucking around like this.
Oh, stairs.
Oh, is it warm up here all of a sudden? Right, mate.
酒井仁だ。よもやここに人がおるとは。頂についたのはあなたが初。ホムラの剣をお探しですか。
Yes.
王子が火をまとった武具を使っておるのだが。それは我が祖先から賜った贈り物でしょう。俺にも授けてくれ。お主の武芸の何た
You never said his name. The subtitles
Mhm.
lie.
小石を拾った後に私と手合わせしていただきます。さすればホムラの剣を伝授いたしましょう。
Oh, what's this? I got messages.
Take a piece of the rock.
Oh god. What rock?
The big rock.
Has he got crack?
It is outside.
Yeah, but the little bug's hassling me about something.
Oh yeah. It's probably some like, I don't know, some banner or piece of intel that you can get from here.
Let's find out. If Jin! Son of a bitch.
But yeah, I know what you mean. Like the AC6 is definitely best in the 1v1. I really like the arena as well. Being able to fight essentially all the pilots,
Yeah.
and like some of them ahead of time as well. Like you could like feasibly you could go to the arena to try and train up for some of the later boss fights.
But that exact thing happened for me with Honest Brute.
Yeah,
I just fought him in the arena and knew about his like flamethrower bullshit, and then the mission came up to go and fight him, and I was like, all right, cool. Well, I know exactly what that guy does.
yep. And it happens later
Ha.
on as well with King and Chartreuse.
Yeah, it does.
Um,
Yeah.
only only when you meet them the next time, you have to fight them both at the same time.
Yeah, that wasn't great. And then a third person shows up and it's just like, oh, great, okay.
Yep.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was a good one. I like that. That was more for the kind of odd one out of my kind of early trio of machines, which was the big heavy biped. That was like the thing that originally it had the over the shoulder laser cannons, and then graduated to that and bazooka and Gatling gun.
See, my brain didn't enjoy any weapon. Oh, God, okay. My brain didn't enjoy any weapon that I had to charge.
Right. Okay. I
So,
I kind of did enjoy that because there was like you could, if you had it on like one shoulder, you could like hold in and release it at the right moment. That
yeah,
rather than pressing it at the right moment.
one was okay for that exact reason, like you could kind of move it around, but see when you're trying to pilot, crab hand, heal, and like maneuver and keep a track of everything, it's too much for me.
Fair enough.
Right, this guy's not going to be easy.
No, he's got some moves, including the one you're trying to learn.
Yeah, and it's a whole bunch of unblockable bullshit he's doing.
Yeah, so that is as far as I know, that's part of the benefit of the flaming sword is that it makes most attacks unblockable.
Oh, I see. So the secret here should really just be pressure him so he can't. Ah, fuck's sake. So much for that. Oh, and then he just pokes me. Boo.
Boo.
Alright. This time, asshole. I got you. Put it that way. Put it out. Nope.
And of the boss fights, even the ridiculous over the top final one, my favorite of the whole game was definitely Ibis.
Yeah, you had a lot of good things to say about that one. It was the one that gave me the most frustration, but at the end it was the one where I was like, well, that was probably the most like an actual, like from boss I was expecting.
Yeah. It was very like, I mean, like the sort of the community surrounding the game are already like calling it Robo Millennia.
Robo Millennia. I don't think it's quite to that level.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. It's like as a main story boss, it couldn't possibly be on the same level of difficulty. But I think it's because like it's winged. It has like a sort of red color scheme, the same as the Scarlet Rot.
It
And
really is
yeah.
just like the coral shit. Really is just Scarlet Rot reskinned in it.
Well, it's Scarlet Rot, but it's also the live stream.
It's a very polluted live stream.
Well, it's more like a sort of ghost stream. So it's like it is the spirits of Rubiconians.
Yeah, that was an interesting take on it.
But yeah, it is 100% like see when it got see when it got back up for the first time. That's the other element, I suppose, that people are calling it Robo Millennia, because it gets back up.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of phase twos.
Yeah, and like a full health bar phase too. That you had to fight on the same 3 heals.
Yeah, that sucked.
So yeah, that was definitely like it kind of elicited the same response in me that Melania did when she did her thing, where I was like, you did the same thing, where you were like, I remember you messaged me at the time. You're like, she's dead. Oh fuck, no, she's not.
It was man, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this here because the painkillers have kicked in and my brain's all slow.
Mushy.
Yeah, so it's gone all smooth.
さてここまでといたしましょう
It was one of the fights that was a highlight of the game, and I kind of wish there was more of that in it. But for what it is, it's fine. Like if you're willing to, it's not like it's the same price as a lot of the other games that are out there. It's a fun kind of PS2 feeling thing. Lots of score attack. If you're into that kind of fast-paced pew pew nonsense bullshit, then yeah, it's a good one for you. But
And
not
and I
necessarily
suppose
for me.
and I suppose on my my final words on it would be, I suppose, that there are kind of two main elements to this game. One is going on missions and blowing stuff up, and the other is tinkering with your suit. And if you get into both elements of the game, it's really really great. And I feel like I kind of did, because I spent about as much time footering around in the garage as I did on missions, maybe even more so.
I'd spent most of my time in the decal maker.
Like I made like maybe, I think I only made like two decals, and that was it. Including my Zeromus one,
Yeah, that
which
was
you
great.
said you quite liked that one.
Yeah, that was great. I would use that as a channel logo.
I might actually some
I was
version of it.
I was very happy with my Foxhound logo.
ホムラの剣へとしたぞ火は操れぬものではありません
And the so yeah, I think, I mean, altogether I think I was something like 60 hours that I put into it in total. Like into the game as a whole. I'd be prepared to say that maybe round about 30, 35 of those hours were spent in a garage.
I think that Armored Core 6 is definitely not even in contention for my Game of the Year picks this year. However, it is probably the best palate cleanser you could have between other big titles that you play this year. It's a very easy game to throw on, do a couple of missions, and then turn off.
Yeah. It's if it doesn't if it doesn't pick up any awards, it will probably get one or two honorable mentions.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like a lot of the beats that you would normally think about for one of these games weren't hit. Like, especially music-wise, there was a couple of decent tracks in there, but there was nothing that really stood out. And
Yeah.
like environments, art design,
It's a lot of snow.
It's a lot of snow and a lot of grey. It's snow. I mean, come on. FromSoft's opus magnum art design was Bloodborne.
And like, see, the thing is, like, there are cutscenes in the game where we do see more than snow and ice, and it's implied that that is a different place, but they had that option, surely.
You would think. But, at the end of the day, we got what we got. Would I get Armored Core 7? Not right away. I'd probably wait to see what you said about it, or to get some. Actually, given how into 6 you are, maybe you're not that reliable. Wait for reviews.
Well, I was gonna say, well, you can at least count on me buying it as soon as it becomes available, because and giving you thoughts on it, because yeah, I'm converted, I think.
Yeah. Would you go back and play the old ones?
I'd maybe go back. I wouldn't go back far. I'd maybe go back like to 5 or something like that.
Last
to see
Ravens.
What we'd come from.
Last Raven's meant to be the one that is like the series highlight.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. But I'm going to be waiting to see what FromSoft pull out next. It would be curious to see what is their next big project. Are they going to go back to something safe like Elden Ring 2? or are they going to press forward with something else? Are they going to do something completely new, or do you think we'll see them go back to an old IP and try and refresh it the same way they did Armored Core style?
Well, we did talk about this on stream a few weeks back. There was a rumor going around that there was a leak from FromSoft, and that their next big game is something called Spellbound, and it's a magic-driven RPG.
Oh, yeah, man, I've totally forgot about that.
So I still, I still not 100% convinced that this is actually what it's going to be. Miyazaki has said that one of the big things he wants to do is create a multiplayer focused FromSoft game.
Okay.
So like one that has more of a multiplayer focus than they have done thus far.
Than none.
Yeah. So I mean, like with AC6, they've got a battle arena. With Souls, they've got they've got invasions and co-op. With Elden Ring, they've got invasions, co-op, and battle arenas. So I'm thinking it's probably going to have that element in it somewhere, that it's going to be a multiplayer game. But the things that have popped out about this Spellbound thing are quite interesting. One of the things that has been supposedly leaked is the form that the game will take in terms of like the layout of the world.
Okay.
And if this is true, I'm kind of I would be interested to play this. So imagine it's not a fully massively open world, but it is a large map. It's at least, it's not quite as big as Elden Ring, but it is a decent size regional map. In the very, very middle of the map, there is the kind of final dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
But the final dungeon is enormous. It's like a big castle, fortress, city type thing, and you, throughout the course of the game, by visiting the other outside areas, you're able to get further and further into that main central area.
Right, so you're just kind of attacking this huge stronghold from all sides, death by 1,000 cuts style.
So no, think about it more as like, you know how like with Metroidvania games you get usually your barrier is you need to find a new item that lets you bypass an obstacle that you can't yet.
Yeah.
Well, from what I'm kind of imagining it as like the central dungeon of the game is that, it's a huge legacy dungeon like Stormvale Castle, or Lanedale, the capital. It's like a big kind of legacy dungeon area on that scale, but you access more and more of it as the game goes on, based on what you've been able to, find or grind or, or pull together from the other areas you've went to.
And is
So you
this
keep coming back to that area.
is this the one that they're talking about, the multiplayer focus?
So the multiplayer focus is like it's basically like the multiplayer thing is all about the fact that that's what Miyazaki says is the next game that he wants to focus on is. But he has already been letting other people take the helm. He's not directing every game anymore. So he could very well make the multiplayer thing, and this Spellbound thing could be left to someone else. But this Spellbound is the thing that has been reportedly leaked, as it's been basically people are alleging that this is a leak of the next project.
Okay. I follow.
But yeah, if that layout of map is true, that would be, I think, quite interesting. Like, you have to keep coming back to that central area, and you can access gradually more and more of it.
I think that's kind of the thing that people really like about the Dark Souls games. It's shortcut porn.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, every time you unlock one of those little gates and step through, and you go, "Oh, that's where I am." It's just like, "Oh, yeah, that's where
Yeah,
I am. Take me there."
there was some nice little bits of that in Liza P, the demo.
There really was. They are doing it. Yeah, it's Bloodborne 2. I should just get it, but I want the Berserk game because I'm a big Berserk fanboy now. But oh, Liza P though. Oh fuck, man, why you gotta do this to me?
I know.
Maybe I
I
should just
know
get neither
this
and get MK1 on the Switch.
the these that this like I've said this already, but we are eating good for games this year.
2023 might be one of the best years for games in probably 10 years. Probably it's like a 2014 caliber year.
Yeah, if they somehow squeak out the Elden DLC before the end of the year, it will be the best year in gaming ever.
I don't know though, because next year is going to start real strong.
You are making a point there, yeah. Tekken, FF Rebirth.
Yeah, fuck Tekken. I'm going to become the greatest Hwarang player in this household.
This whole house.
The entire house. Maybe even the flat. Like the whole block. That's like 6 houses.
How many people are you going to rope in to play Tekken with you then?
I don't know. Eddie's not in the game, so there isn't a noob-friendly MASH boy anymore.
Are you going to get? Because I imagine our fighting game presenting friend Keynotics will probably be buying Tekken.
I would
Probably
hope
get
so.
a few rounds with him.
I would hope so. I'll be playing him. One of my friends is a sponsored Tekken player. He's always pissing off to different countries to compete. Ah, god damn it.
Sick.
So I'll be using that to lure him round to see him a wee bit more. Maybe I'll say to him, "Hey, you boys needing a Hwarang main for the team there?" Because as far as I'm aware, nobody really plays Hwarang. He's not considered one of the top tier players, but in a lot of cases,
He's not meta.
well, yeah, he's not considered like a meta character, but in a lot of instances that can actually be beneficial because people aren't used to playing against them.
Yeah, more of a left field rogue choice.
Yeah, it was like that time the dude rocked up to the Tekken World Tour playing Panda, and just nobody had played a Panda matchup in years. Did you see the clip from that?
No, I did not.
Oh man, it's so good. I'll need to send you it. The Tekken World Tour, he wins the whole thing as Panda. Harada comes out, Harada-san himself comes out with the microphone, no translator needed. Normally he would walk up and give some, like, "Oh, congratulations, you did very well. Thank you for playing the game." He walked straight up to the guy with a microphone, looked him dead in the eye, and just went, "Panda. Really?"
Really?
He was blown away. He loved it. It's another video you should watch as well for anybody that's looking for some entertainment after the stream. Check out Max Dude's out of pocket fighting game moments video. There was a couple of them where I was squealing.
So I don't know. I think I might have mentioned this before, and like when I was up visiting the other day, I meant to mention it to you, and I totally forgot. There is a new format of Elden Ring that I've been enjoying.
Right.
that we've been enjoying in this house. It is Elden Ring Bingo. Have I mentioned this before?
Elden Ringo?
Yeah, Elden Ringo.
I don't think so. Maybe.
Right, okay. Well, in case I haven't, I may very well have done, might even have done so on the stream, but in case I haven't, what it is it's a board of like 5x5, a bingo board. And on each square is written like a reasonable challenge. Like, for example, beat beat a Gil with a +0 weapon, or kill 5 bosses with tree in their name,
Okay.
or get to a +7 somber weapon.
I think you have told me about this.
And basically what they have to do is they have to get a line either horizontally, vertically, or diagonally from corner to corner. And if they do that, it's bingo and they win. And you could, if they can establish a bingo, they win by majority of squares filled in. And it's a versus thing. You can kind of watch either side of it, and it is massively compelling viewing if you're into one of the bingo players. If you find one that you like, we've got a couple that we like, but if you find one that you like, it is quite compelling because you start to like see into other wee strategy things.
Oh my god. I just fast travelled into the middle of enemy territory. What the fuck?
Oh no.
No. If I can't fast travel while I'm in combat to get out of combat,
This was supposed to be a safe event.
this is dog shit. I'm just trying to go see a lighthouse. I was laughing because I was looking through the things that are coming up, and one of my missions is to kill General Dogshit.
I remember thinking that at the time as well, like general dog shit.
There's no way that he wasn't called General Dogshit when he was at school.
Oh man, this I forgot. I totally forgot to say this. Like when we were talking about FF16 back when, but how gutting is it that nobody ever referred to Hugo as Cupcake?
What?
In Final Fantasy 16, like for a joke, nobody referred to him as Hugo Cupcake.
Oh, I'm with you now. I totally forgot who Hugo was. Kupka. You're talking about
Yes.
Kupka, right?
I'm
yes.
talking about Kupka. Wouldn't that have been some comedic wordplay?
It certainly would have been words. They might even have featured in Forspoken. They were that good.
Oh man. I apparently, like, now that the dust has settled, FF16 has definitely not done enough to make up for Forspoken or Avengers.
Don't worry, boys. Rebirth's just round the corner.
Yeah, there is greener grass over there, we promise.
Realistically, what Square need to do to improve their profit margins is just stop. Just fucking stop. Make Final Fantasies, make Dragon's Quests, and just fuck off.
Yeah, like, cause like, with those properties and like with I suppose with one or two other like independent, new IPs, like Octopath's doing pretty good right now. But like, with exception of those one or two outliers, like they should be sticking to their strengths.
Oh fuck. You know how
You
know how like
pancaked
Shonen.
yourself.
I really did. You know how oh, they respawned. What the fuck?
Oh no.
So you know how shonen mangas are done, where basically like, if your manga doesn't sell well enough 1 week, you just get cancelled and a new one gets a shot.
Yeah.
It should work that way.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad system for anything.
Well, they have been quite cutting about essentially what they are, what they're willing to continue supporting, like with all the, with all the like shitty live service games that they tried to introduce and then have then cancelled straight after in less than a year.
Right, I just want to get through this so I can fast travel to this place and end this fucking thing. Can you guys accommodate that, please?
If you wouldn't mind, good sirs.
That guy was prancing over to see what was happening a bit gingerly there. People are dying, my dude. Like, bit of urgency. Do you count as a big lad or a sword lad? You count as a sword lad.
Yes.
Oh, you count as you count as both for sure.
Yeah, he counts as both a big lad and a shield lad.
Man, are you the fucking killdozer? Oh, and you've got a dickhead with a bow and arrow. That's not fair. Come here.
That was some good parkour there.
Thanks. I figured there's no chance this big asshole was following me that way. He would just barrel straight through them.
That was almost Sasso Credo of you. I felt an Assassin's Creed happening.
You felt somebody plugging into my brain and going back through my DNA to see what my ancestors were up to?
No, the cool assassin bit.
Alright, cool, right, yeah. Oh, who cares about Altair Ibn Alahad when you could be Desmond?
Or Connor.
Oh, fuck off.
But like this is something that I kind of wanted to maybe draw attention into at some point during the stream. Don't you think this seems like a much better Assassin's Creed game than they've been trying to make over there at Ubisoft?
Don't say that. The Ubisoft will send their assassins after you. But yeah.
Well, I suppose there's at least one Ubisoft game I'm looking forward to. That Prince of Persia one looks alright.
Oh, the one with Killmonger?
Yeah, the one with Killmonger, it looks good.
Yeah, it looks alright.
Yeah, looks like fun. It's like Castlevania-ish.
It really does feel like it's a Metroid Dread kind of interpretation of Prince of Persia, and I'm cool with that. If they want to make that a genre that Nintendo dips into, then fine, whatever.
I really want to play that Metroid Dread. I really need to get around to that at some point.
It's very good.
I've
right.
heard that. I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yes. Well, that's it from us. Not sure what we're doing on Thursday because our co-host and habitee for you,
Yes.
absolutely fucking destroyed our leg.
Yeah. Our beloved Willow is recovering this week. It was quite a number, quite a number she's done, but she'll be getting better.
It sounded genuinely fucking revolting, and I'm glad that I never watched.
Yeah, and there are pictures. They're not for the faint of heart, and you perhaps quite wisely decided not to look at them.
Yeah, no, even with the aphantasia, anytime I thought about it, I would just feel sad. So that would work.
Fair enough.
Right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for subs. Thanks for all your kind comments, etc., etc. You're all my friends. I'll see you soon. Anybody that I said message me or I want to hang out with you, do so, please.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, we out. Peace.
Bye.